Good morning, good morning, good morning, Wednesday morning. First of all, if you've tuned in and thought I would be at the Capitol in Georgia, reporting at the Capitol in Georgia and Atlanta, that was the plan, but I ended up having a meeting in Atlanta yesterday and couldn't go back to back, so we are in the studio. That's first. Second, we're here for 3 hours. We will have the Georgia hour today with BKP. We will have that. So we're here for 3 full hours, 2 hours of national for the most part, 1 hour Georgia, the Georgia hour from 10 to 11. That's 2. 3. What is 3? Oh, I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com, voiceofruralamerica.com. Thank you for being here. Now, 4, should I keep doing? No. Welcome. So this is not a problem on where to start, but I feel, this is where we have the conversation. So if you're new to the program, let me put it right out because the program grows daily. Thank you very much for sharing it with your friends. But this is where we have the conversation. We don't attack. We just have the conversation. This is where, as your host, BKP, I put things out throughout the 3 hours that hopefully you will go research, read for yourself, study, think about, ponder, and make your own decision. I have mine. I have my opinion. Obviously, in 2 hours, you will hear it. But because Trump did not say, or because Donald J. Trump did not have the United Nations write his statement yesterday with Benny there, right? Netanyahu from Israel in the joint press conference, because Donald Trump did not call the United Nations and said, would you please write a statement for me? Give me video 21, Diane. Good morning, Diane. How are you, Diane? I'm glad to hear that, Diane. Give me video 21, Diane.
Not only do we pray for peace, we are actively working for peace, security, dignity for the Israeli people and the Palestinian people. I'm engaged in this day and night. I'm working, as many of you in this room are, to find the means to bring our hostages home, to ease the humanitarian crisis, and to bring peace to Gaza and Israel, and enduring peace with 2 states for 2 peoples.
Well, first of all, he never worked day and night. That's number one. He never worked tirelessly. He was tired from the time he woke up. But because Donald Trump did not say 2-state solution. Now, we're going to get into this. And some of you are going to be very upset maybe with my comments. I don't know. But please, let's have the conversation. All right? We're going to. But you see, Donald Trump did not say 2-state solution. He did not come on and say, hey, 2-state solution, and have the United Nations write it. So hang on for that one. All right. But first, let's go into, as you well know, last night I'm looking at news feeds, or what they call news feeds. And this morning, I start with CNN from 4 a.m. all the way up to just a couple minutes ago, MSNBC. And the panic that they're having over Israel, the panic that they're having that Donald Trump did not allow the United Nations to, give me number 6, please, Diane, the United Nations to write his statement, the panic that they're having over USAID, the panic that they're having over the fact that we are possibly going to stop the theft of American wealth, your wealth, You are the wealth. I know the 1%, Elon Musk, the theft from you and I. The fact that we are going to put a stop to that has drove them nuts. Now, here's a couple things that I want to show you. Oh, I love this one. We're saving this one on a daily basis. Number 7. We never want to lose this one right here. Every day, Donald Trump, the shock and awe. The shock and awe. All right, so take that down. All right, so let me give you a couple things this morning. Before we get into Israel, we will discuss it. It's my promise. In depth. All right. So where are we at? All right, my question to me yesterday, give me number 54. Pam Bondi is now the Attorney General. Pam Bondi wins Senate confirmation despite fierce Democrat opposition. The Senate voted Tuesday to confirm Pam Bondi as the Attorney General. Not a word this morning. Not a word. They're freaking out that the data has been collected on 5,000 FBI agents. They're freaking out of, clean your desk out of the Department of Justice. Get out of here. They are losing it. In 2 hours this morning, or 3 hours, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. Wow. Not a peep on any network that I watched that she's confirmed, and she will be heading over to DOJ today as the Attorney General of the state of the United States of America. Not a word. Now, give me also number 49, Pam Bondi. So yesterday I got a phone call and I had a question asked, and I just want to let you know, Bondi confirmed as Attorney General. Department of Justice. So we shall see as things move along. So I got a phone call yesterday, and sometimes just putting you out there, when I get a phone call, I have to think about it. I'm not a wanderer. I'm a ponderer. I have to ponder a minute. So this person called me up and said, do you think this senator will vote for RFK Jr.? I was like, na, 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 na. I said, I don't know. I don't know. I can't truly come right out of the box just like that and say yes or no. I got to ponder this. So this morning I come in and Pam Bondi is approved 54 yeses. So if we do the simple math, not Common Core math, the simple math, if you have 53 Republicans and 54 said yes, Diane, give me number 56. If you had 54 say yes, and 53 Republicans, who is the Democrat that said yes to Pam Bondi for Attorney General? Boom! Fetterman. You guys are doing a great job. I don't want to move any further. I've said this to do they still call them peeps? I don't know. Somebody called me a boomer, said, you're a real boomer. Well, I don't know. So to my PA peeps, how'd that sound? You guys are doing a great job. Please tell your friends, call this guy. Call him. Because I'm going to tell you, the nation. But when you call the number, they will ask, where are you calling from? And we want you to call from all over the United States. I want to be clear on that. We're not discouraging you from calling from New Mexico. Call. But when you call, they ask, where are you calling from? If you say Georgia, you get put on this list, which is important. So call. But if you say Pennsylvania, you get put on this list, which is elevated to a different level for the senator. That's a fact. All right? And you guys are doing a great job. John Fetterman voted for. He voted for Pam Bondi to be Attorney General. He's the lone Democrat. So yesterday when you out there called and said, do you think this guy would vote for RFK? I have to say, I think yes. I don't know. Coin toss. But I think he could apply the pressure. So here's the other thing that we will talk about later. John Fetterman reportedly open to American occupation of the Gaza Strip. President Trump floated idea of U.S. takeover of Gaza, relocation of millions. Fetterman said, it's reportedly is open to the idea. So just put that up. But yes, don't stop. Now, a couple more things before we get into Israel and Gaza and Trump not reading a statement from the United Nations. You got to remember, we're going to go back, right? Two-state solution. Everyone has come to the podium. George H., George W., Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, right? Hillary Clinton. Trump in his first term, Joe Biden, you name it. They've all come to the microphone and read the United Nations statement saying two-state solution. Trump didn't do that yesterday, and they are freaking out. You know, around the world, foreign leaders around the world, they're calling emergency meetings with their staff. And they have this is my prediction. My prediction is foreign leaders all around the world are calling emergency meetings with their staff, and they have something like a Trump tracking team. Yeah, the 3 T's. Trump tracking team. All right, because this is a code meeting of the 3 T's. TTT. Trump tracking team. Keep up with Trump today team. And they got it in like shifts. 2:12. No one could take their eyes because Trump could do something at 2 a.m. Trump could do something at 7 a.m. If you're over in Germany or in the Middle East or whatever, you know, Trump could do it in the middle of the night and it's the middle of the day, vice versa. So every friggin' international country out there, everyone has people assigned. Could someone please try to keep up with the 78-year-old Trump? The only time Trump is not doing something is when he takes a Big Mac Diet Coke break. Oh, all right, moving right along. So take that down. Now, one more. Number 66, because I broadcast one from Georgia, and because I had a meeting with an individual that ran his first congressional campaign. I met with an individual yesterday that ran Doug Collins' first Georgia congressional campaign, and we reminisced about him becoming the secretary. We met about an hour in Atlanta before he officially became Secretary of Veterans Affairs, and had a meeting with this individual, and we were talking about that campaign and Doug Collins. I remember, I think the best memory I have of Doug Collins, not that I moderated a debate with him, 2 of them, in fact, but my best memories of Doug Collins is when former Congressman, Secretary Collins, is when he sit next to Jerry Nadler. And he made Jerry Nadler's life living hell. And I will say this and not get stuck, but my dad in a hospital bed in a living room, you know, when Doug Collins come on, he would say, now be quiet. I like that Georgia boy. I want to hear what that Georgia boy has to say. So, and go back. I appreciate the fact that Congressman Collins had an opportunity to meet my dad and vice versa before he died. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Doug Collins, today. And I want to say to every veteran out there, I can't say this about any nominee Trump's put forward, but I know this guy. And veterans, probably in my lifetime, there's maybe in my lifetime, there's never been a better champion of veterans. I'm excited at what's coming our way because our veterans, I'm not going to get long-winded, but it tears me up to see our veterans sleeping in the streets, the care that lack of care, list goes on. So congratulations to our new secretary, of Veterans Affairs, Doug Collins. And you're welcome. You're welcome. I can hear you out there from sea to shining sea saying, thank you, Georgia, for sending us Doug Collins. Now, you understand, I'm not going to waste this much time on Kelly Loeffler. No, I'm not wasting an ounce of my good time on Kelly Loeffler, the new Small Business Administration. All right, take that down. Congratulations to Secretary Collins. Now, where do I want to go? Here, let's go with this because these are some things that are not being discussed. I see the panic, number 36. So she made it out. I want to explain something concerning Tulsi Gabbard. Senate committee backs Tulsi Gabbard as next intelligence chief. So it was 9-8, party line 9-8. But what's his name? I had here a minute ago. Where is it at? Collins, right? Collins and Todd Young, the Indiana senator. The Indiana senator that kept pushing her, all right? So there's something in an observation I want you to think about in this confirmation hearing with Tulsi Gabbard. First of all, I fully support her. Every morning when I get up, it would mean a lot more to me. I feel safe, my grandkids, my family, my friends, my community, to know that this is the person. I want to be clear. This is the person that will go into President Trump every morning, every single morning, and give him the daily threat assessment. Lay out every threat assessment around the world, give him all the options, and report every morning to the president. So, Donald Trump has to have someone he could trust, not someone from down the street in the deep state, right? That's what we've always had. Someone down the street in the deep state, in the CIA, the agencies down there that whoop together, right? A corrupt response, lie, regime change, all the above, and went into the president of the United States and gave a morning report. Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. All right, it's the uniparty. When it comes to this, uniparty walks in, no matter if it's George H., George W., it did not matter. Barack Obama, it's the same guy. Biden, doesn't matter. Clinton. So this person right here, let's stay focused, will do that. I'm talking to myself. We'll do that every morning. Second, what's very important is she has moved to the next level. She's out 9-8. So she's going to the Senate for confirmation now. So I don't know when they have that set up. I didn't see it. But this is very important. This is, I think this is the only confirmation hearing that there's a second round behind closed doors. And I'll tell you why. Like, are they hiding things? Now, that's not totally the case. The Intelligence Committee that has all the security clearances, she will have all the security clearances to the top secrets. They had to check her. Now, I don't think it was a test from Michael Bennett yelling at her, but I will say this. They had to check her to see what she would do and what she would say in front of the committee when she's called before the committee. So what I'm explaining to you is she will, as NIA, right? National Intelligence Advisor or whatever, she will be called before the committee. Because of the security clearance, because of national security and secrets, she will only be able to publicly say so much. So one of the things in her confirmation hearing the other day was a test to see, if grilled, what she would really say. I'm serious. Think about it. Then behind closed doors, she's able to open up and say some things that she should not say in front of the public. I'm not advocating, but let me tell you, some national security interest, you can't label transparency when that could be dangerous to you and I on something that could be happening. So she had to get test one, really put the pressure on her. She did an amazing job. Every Snowden question was, he broke the law. She didn't go down the road, okay? Then she had behind closed doors. Remember that. Behind closed doors. And that's where Indiana Senator and what's his name? Indiana Senator, bada bing, bada boom, Todd Young and Susan Collins, they did not cave, quote, to Donald Trump. Behind closed doors is where she was able to let them know that she's going to give the top. She's not going to go out there and be an activist. She's going to be giving the top secure intel to the president on a daily basis. That can be trusted. So I'll leave it alone. I just wanted to share that you got to understand some of the reason that her same exact thing on DOJ with Pam Bondi, same thing with Kash Patel. What will you say if pushed? So there was some testing there. Now, I want to show you something. And this is not, I'm not trying to draw fear. I really not. I never want to do the show in fear. A couple things before we get to the CIA offering a buyout, the Department of Education going to be closed down, and obviously Israel. We will discuss it today, and we will discuss the latest stunt from Josh McCoon. The nicest, worst man in America, Josh McCoon, the Georgia GOP chair. I mean, up front, it looks like the nicest guy. He's just so nice. He's so nice. He's a bad man. All right. This is not conspiracy theory. This is not something to scare people. But let's roll it anyway. All right, Diane, give me this. All right. I have it here somewhere. Where's it at? Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. All right, give me video 9. Now listen close. This is the little Peter Ducey boy. This is the Ducey. Peter's in the Oval Office and he's asking Trump some questions. Video 9. Pay attention.
Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani.
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why, lack of intelligence perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader, or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran.
All right. So just going with this, left instructions. Peter Doocy says Iran is plotting to kill you guys. Iran is plotting to kill you guys. Trump says, well, it hasn't happened yet. But he said they would be obliterated, and I've left instructions. Now, I don't want to go down a road, but when he said I left instructions, I was like, huh. You left instructions. Now, give me 42. When the helicopter crashed into the American Airlines, that they've now recovered the 67 bodies, Pete Hegseth, the Department of Defense, Secretary of Department of Defense, came out in his statement, top secret mission, Black Hawk and DC plane crash was practicing classified continuity of government mission in case of attack on U.S. Now, I brought that up. Here's what I did. Number 39. I brought this out the morning after because I started getting messages because when Pete went to the microphone, he said a training for continuity of government. Now, I'm not trying to alarm, but you heard the question of Trump. Iran trying to kill you. And Trump left instructions. Well, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be pretty clear? Like, you really have to leave the instructions? Just saying. So what is continuity of government mission? Continuity of government mission, according to the White House website, continuity of government refers to the plan in place to keep government up and running in case of a major catastrophe or attack on Washington, D.C. Now, take that down. I keep saying I'm not trying to fire something up. But the question yesterday was, Iran's trying to kill you. Yes, and I've left instructions. So, well, wait a minute. All right, so Diane, we're going to take a break because we're going to do a full segment on Israel. Full segment. We're going to have the conversation. You need to stick around. We're going to. Number 37. It seems like wait a minute. It seems like just 3 weeks ago, let's see if I have this correct. It seems like just 3 weeks ago that Steve Bannon, all right, and this is not a Steve Bannon attack. I always get these notes, but it seems like about a month ago, Steve Bannon said Musk would be gone before inauguration. Not that Musk would be sitting next to Barron going like this when Trump said Mars. No. He said he would be gone before inauguration. And then, which I follow her stuff because she's done a good job on a lot of different levels and a lot of subjects. But then it started getting Steve Bannon and Jack Posobiec and Laura Loomer. They start whooping the frenzy up over Musk on the, H-1B visas, right? Oh, that frenzy went through the roof. They whooped that right up there, got noisy. They were going to take Elon Musk out. And it seems like USAID CIA, Treasury, the theft from America. I don't know. What say you about the Muskie? What say you? Anyhow, there you go. Just saying. Let's see what else I have here. Department of Education going down. Trump going down. Department of Education signing an executive order keeping these from diving in the pool with girls. And let me make sure. Oh, look at the prison in Colombia, number 52. Look at the prison there. And yeah, the judge said I could send you to, not Colombia, El Salvador's.
Yeah, you keep saying Colombia, but even yesterday you kept saying Colombia, but I think you mean to say El Salvador.
Well, why don't you correct me? Why are you waiting until now?
Well, because I was typing but yeah, I think it's El Salvador. He met with President of, Rubio met with the President of El Salvador.
And I kept saying
got
Colombia?
Huh?
I kept saying Colombia?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I didn't know if he met with the President of Colombia. So I was a little bit confused and I didn't ask about it.
It sounds like obviously I was a little bit confused. That's who it sounds like was confused. Moving right along. Hi, Diane. How are you? Moving right along. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is going to be a picture that I look at every single day. I'm going to put it every single day. Give me number 38. This is Sean Duffy, his daughter. She has Down syndrome. Is that Valentina? Valentina? Is that her name? Look at that beautiful young lady with the president. And I told you yesterday what I tell you. Number 19. I said this yesterday. What did I say? I said, when Trump looks at this picture, he sees a nice beachfront condos. I told you that yesterday morning before anything was, I told you that. But Trump didn't say two-state solution, and everybody's all worked up. We will break it down. I'll be back right after these messages. I appreciate you. Take a break.
Dave Chevrolet Jasper is North Georgia's business elite commercial truck giant. Box trucks, landscape trucks, flatbed and heavy hauling trucks. When you've got a job to do, we've got the commercial truck for you. And get a federal tax credit up to 100% of the purchase price. Hundreds of commercial trucks are all right here at Dave Chevrolet Jasper. Dave Chevrolet, Dave gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we are back. I'm your host, BKP, and yes, we will be here for 3 hours, 3 solid hours. Today at 10 o'clock, we will have the Georgia Hour. I was down at the Capitol yesterday. BKP, voiceofruralamerica.com. So I need information, and I need pertinent. Do you know what pertinent information is? And I'm trying to get ready to do the show, and I need information to work with. And I can always count on you guys out there. So I get a picture along with a note at about 7:15 this morning. Did you know an emu cannot walk backwards? The emu and kangaroo can only go forward. When the emu is in full movement, it moves 9 feet with 1 step. Wow. Be an emu and a kangaroo and move forward in life, and don't look back at your past. I like that. So I got my emu can only go forward. And now I can't get the picture out of my head of an emu just running 9 foot at a time with a stride. So we're going to look forward. All right, so we are going to talk about, hi, Diane. I'm not at the Capitol today. You expected me to be there. I was there yesterday. So Trump did not say two-state solution. And I want to go through some pictures, and we're going to go through some statements, and we're going to go through some history, and we're going to insert a little opinion and what I think, and you're going to tell me what you think, and we're going to have the conversation. So, number one, they are all bent out of shape. All right? Because as I said when I opened up, Trump didn't have the United Nations write a statement. Now, let's start with this. We'll start with this and then we'll go backwards. Give me number 70. All right. Now, we're going to come back to that one. That's number one, Diane. So, on October 7th, Hamas led an attack on Israel. All right. So if you're going to send me messages and say Zionist and you're going to genocide and all that, okay, I get it. I get it. I read the articles. I get it. I have publicly said on here, just because of the fact that I'm pro-life, okay, and I'm pro-life from start to finish, and I think we care for life all the way until God decides that life should end. There you go. You got me. That's my opinion. God decides when life begins. God decides. And I've had to deal with these things within my life over and over. Things happen. All right? And God decides when you leave. That's my simple. So when anything, no matter where it comes from, kills children, it bothers me. It bothers me. Now, biblically, someone reminded me the other day, biblically, God wiped out thousands in the past. Thousands. You don't wipe out thousands without hurting some innocent or whatever. So we won't get into the biblical side of it, with the exception of a couple things. But that's where I'm at. But here's the bottom line. October 7th, Hamas-led attack on Israel. On October 7th, 2023, Hamas and several other Palestinian militant groups launched a coordinated armed incursion, right, from Gaza Strip, from Gaza, into the Gaza envelope of southern Israel, the first invasion of Israel since the 1948 Arab-Israel War. 1948 is when Israel became a state. Now, so we have that Gaza established, Hamas established. So yesterday, we're going to go into what Trump said. So give me number one. This is a little bit of a view of Gaza today. Actually, it's cleared out. Those people are not walking to the local convenience store to get a Coke, a pack of nabs. That's crackers if you're in the South. A pack of nabs, right? A Coke. You're not doing it. And a smile. That's Gaza today. So let's go to number 4. Just relax. Don't get all worked up. Let's bring this all the way around. Stunning proposal. This is Gaza. Now, if you tell me this is Gaza because this happened and this happened and this happened, that's 2 days ago. Donald Trump was not president of the United States of America when that took place. He wasn't. End of story. Joe Biden, Anthony Blinken, right? Kamala Harris, Jake Sullivan. Facts cannot be disputed of who was behind the Resolute desk with the seal, whether he knew it or not, Joe Biden, when this picture was created. But this is Gaza this morning. That's what it looks like. Give me number 5. Stunning proposal. All right. So, stunning proposal. Right there. There's BB. Now, I have the messages. Plural. BB's a criminal. I get it. Okay. He is a criminal. He's a war criminal. I get it. I have those messages. All right. This is a conversation we're going to have. Stunning proposal. Number 6, it's freaking these people out. Again, I say, like I did this morning, Trump did not stand up yesterday and say two-state solution. Trump did not say, hey, you got to stay with me on this segment because I am going to put some things out there that I hopefully will open up some thoughts anyhow. So he didn't read the UN two-state solution as Joe Biden did, and we'll get into that in just a minute. U.S. will take over Gaza Strip. We'll own it, Trump says. They are freaking out. All right. So here it is, number 8, Netanyahu and Trump meeting. This is the shoreline of the Gaza Strip. I told you yesterday, Trump cannot look at this and not think about, wow, that would be some nice. Well, do you know where the Redneck Riviera is? Text me if you know where the Redneck Riviera is. But anyhow, I don't want to get cheeky or nothing. I don't want to be a wise guy, but it could be the Riviera of the Mediterranean there. Okay, I may have something wrong, so don't get all bent out of shape. Now, here you go, number 13. You'll get a look at where Gaza's at, Israel. Trump says, we will take over the Gaza Strip. We'll own it. Now, we're going to have a couple parts here. We're going to have what Trump said yesterday and what I think he meant. That's a stretch, but I'm going to show you. So you see Gaza, Israel, you see Jordan and Egypt. All right. The West Bank, Jerusalem, the Golan Heights. All right. So, actually, I have an answer. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, number 14. Now, this is the group that attacked Israel, but CNN and all of them feel they have a say. Hamas responds to Gaza proposal, creating chaos and tension in the region. Our people in Gaza Strip will not allow these plans to pass. Diane, write that number down somewhere so it comes back. Because Hamas, yesterday, their statement is, our people in the Gaza Strip will not allow these plans to pass. This is a terrorist organization that we funded via Iran and others. Yes, we did. We funded the attack. How do you do that? Well, you take Trump out, and then Biden's administration, Iran was broke. Biden's administration, the cash flows in. Iran is this is the people that want to kill Trump. Iran is the leading finance arm of terrorist groups. Bada bing, bada boom. Right? Funded via us, basically. There's the attack. Hamas said, we won't stand for it. We'll get back to this in a minute. So we start getting reaction. All right, we start getting reaction. Number 15. Senators respond with shock that Trump Gaza proposal. Now this ties to USAID. It ties everything you're seeing ties together of the level of corruption. There's no coincidence here. Trump is inaugurated. We go in with a scalpel. We're cleaning out CIA. We're cleaning out FBI. We're cleaning out DOJ. We're cleaning out USAID. Regime change that they want you to believe is what you're really doing is ending people getting a bag of rice, and we're starving children. Not happening. This is all tied together. Now, the reason these people have tears in their eyes is not because of their love for Israel, not because of their love for a two-state solution, not because of their anything other than the fact they no longer can steal. This is where theft, they laundromat. Now, these people will get angry, but there's different ways that they wash the money we send all around the world through 3 or 4 different channels to hide it, NGOs, all the above, that end back up in bank accounts for these people. That's why they're crying. That's why the UN, all of them, have only said two-state solution for how many years? Now, what they want to lead you to believe, and I don't know, I can't personally tell you that I can negotiate peace in the region. My God, there's not been peace in this region. But if they say that enough, right? If they say it enough that they just can't come to terms with peace in the region, then sooner or later you believe it. And if they say it enough from the podium, every single president, two-state solution. All right, give me this right here, and then we're gonna get back, because I'm gonna stay with this. We're gonna bring it all the way around. We're gonna have a really good show with information today. Where's my two-state? Yeah, give me video 18.
No outside force is going to resolve the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. Only a two-state solution can provide Palestinians independence, sovereignty, and dignity, and provide Israelis the secure and recognized borders of a democratic Jewish state. Now, it is no secret that the most recent efforts to advance direct negotiations didn't yield much tangible progress. But I remain convinced.
Recently, they did not yield the results we wanted. Years, that's the same speech. We will show you the same speech for years and years by people like Hillary Rodham Clinton. So for years, there's no outside source. No outside source can come in here and solve this. So if you're going down the street and you say to somebody, do you think they can solve the Palestinian, we'll call it a conflict, the Palestinian-Israel conflict and the war? Oh, no, there's no outside source that can solve that. How do you know that? Well, that's what they say. They've always said that. Exactly. No outside source. Two-state solution. Wonder who's getting all the money for years. So here you go. Number 16. Here's Lindsey Grahamnesty, GOP senators on Trump's Gaza plan. Senator Tillis, there's a couple kinks in that slinky. Check back with me tomorrow. Interesting proposal. Lindsey Graham might be problematic. It might be problematic. We really are not looking for a solution. Now, hang on to this picture in your brain, number 17. Trump says U.S. will take over Gaza Strip. We'll own it. Where are these people going back to? Where are they going back to? They're going back. These people, look, first of all, Casey Hunt and John King and Anderson Cooper and Joe and Minka, and the list goes on. Every single one of them, they're returning home. To what? Where are these people going back to? Look at this crowd, because we're going to examine this in a minute. Where do they work when they get back? Where is their income? They don't have one. If you do a little history on the Gaza Strip, there's no industry, right? There's not. There's not really a place where they work. Every one of these people rely on things like USAID. Exactly. They rely on something to sustain themselves on a daily basis. This is where we friggin' send the Super Bowl loser t-shirts to. Where'd that come from? Anyhow, look at that. They're returning to what? So, number 18. Now I'm getting ready to play you some video from yesterday. Number 18. Trump says U.S. will take over Gaza Strip. We'll own it. He's there with Bibi. And then we have 19. We've talked about this. Look at this. People are at the beach. And number 22, serious proposal or a distraction? Trump going to close the Department of Education. We're going to talk about that before we close today. I want to stay on the Israel-Gaza Strip. Now, here, these people are so corrupt. I could say that. I could do like a 6-hour show and just say they're so corrupt. Give me number 30. This is Tim Kaine. He's a weirdo. I'm sorry, this man is a weirdo. I mean, the United States should not take anybody's home. Two-state solution. Would that be the Palestinian state, or would that be Hamas? Or would that be where the PLO, with Bill Clinton, made a deal with Yasser Arafat, the guy that wore the tablecloth on his head, and then Hamas took over Gaza? What would that be? Because you people are too damn dumb, too damn corrupt to stand up and do the right thing for humanity anywhere. Don't give me your humanity. Take someone's home? Wow. Number 2, U.S. nation building in the Middle East. Folks, you have used USAID for regime change. Ukraine nation building? If you haven't learned anything, now listen to this statement, because we're going to break this down. If you haven't learned anything from 2002 to 2025, you haven't been paying attention. We are very bad at that. So he just told you what I've said. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to play you the video. It's going to be crystal clear to you. The guy is telling you. You're not paying attention. Our job is to say two-state solution. You're not paying attention. Our job is to send billions of dollars of weapons to this side and billions of dollars of rice to this side. Exactly. You're not paying attention. We got a two-state solution. Yes. You're not paying attention. The UN. I told you that. Well, you don't understand. There's no outside source. Number 31, Senator Coons on Trump's Gaza comments. I'm speechless. That's insane. I can't think of a place on earth that would allow American troops less and where any positive outcome is less likely. And why on earth would we abandon decades? Now listen to this. These people should go to Gitmo immediately. Why on earth we would abandon decades of well-established humanitarian programs around the world and now launch into one of the world's greatest humanitarian challenges? Dude, thousands of people have been killed. You see, you got to understand, every time Trump says peace, I promise we're going to break it down. Every time Trump says peace and stop killing people, it freaks them out. We have worked on humanitarian. How'd that work out for us? We have millions dead in Ukraine and Russia. How'd that work out for us? We've got thousands dead in Gaza and Israel. These people are so friggin' evil, folks. Here's Senator Graham, number 32. I think that's a tough place to be assigned if you're an American soldier. So we'll see what the Arab world says. But you know, that'd be problematic on many levels. Number 33, the world reacts to the Gaza comments. World reacts to Gaza comments. And let's see what else I have before we start breaking down the videos. So hang tight here. Give me number 44. We're going into the cropped out pictures. Trump's bold proposal to take over Gaza Strip and rebuild it into the Riviera of the Middle East draws outrage. Outrage. Let's see what else I have here. Make sure I'm not missing any other. New York Post, Gaza have it. Trump says U.S. will take over Gaza Strip after relocating all Palestinians. After relocating them, Jordan, Egypt. Number 53, I always love the Post cover. 53, Trump announces Middle East plan to relocate Palestinians and own the Strip. That may be it for right now on this one right here. So I want to show you this, and then I'll show you this in just a minute. Let's play some video because we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to break down what Trump said. We've laid it out, all right? Give me video 1.
I think it's hard to say that there's a lot of self-determination in Gaza and with Hamas at the helm there. I think that that's just categorically false, especially if you're a woman.
Take it away. Hamas does not belong governing in Gaza. Two things can be true at once. I agree with the Prime Minister and the President. You can't have a terrorist group running land. However, does that mean all those Palestinian, but do all the Palestinian people then forever lose their right to self-determination on their land because they have a terrorist problem? Fix the terrorist problem.
Well, it's fixing the terrorist problem, and it's beginning as a world to try and rebuild.
I admit Hamas should not be governing. A terrorist organization should not be governing. The Palestinian people we need to fix the terrorist problem. Wow. So if you listen to that and you're out there and you're busy, you may think that Hamas just infiltrated Gaza recently. You just fixed the terrorists. So when we get back, we're going to look, how long has Hamas been in control of Gaza? How long? And how long have we been funding Hamas, right? So in others, they'll say you're not. Okay, give me video 2.
Even in a flood of news, our top story is almost biblical in proportion. Tonight, at a press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, the President of the United States declared the U.S. will take over Gaza. Own it, he said, and he would not rule out U.S. troops to do it. As for the men, women, and children displaced by the fighting in Gaza, he said they need to leave. 1.9 million people, that's according to the UN, 1.8 million people according to the president. In his view, the war which Hamas launched with their unprovoked October 7th attack should end with all those people living elsewhere and the United States in control of a large, almost beach resort.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different.
Again, he did not.
So who do we want to go in and clean it out? Do we want to send Hamas back in, make a deal with them? They go in and clean it out? We pay them so much money? Is China going to go in and rebuild it? What will happen? Will someone come from Russia to rebuild it? I doubt that. So we want to make sure of how this is rebuilt. Now keep in mind, Jake Sullivan, Blinken, right? Samantha Powers, USAID. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Jake Sullivan, Blinken, Biden, all of them, every one of these people. Now, Trump just got the job again. So give me video 7 before we take our break.
The Riviera of the Middle East.
It would be my hope that we could do something really nice, really good, where they wouldn't want to return. Why would they want to return? The place has been hell. It's been one of the meanest, toughest places on earth. You take certain areas and you build really good quality housing, like a beautiful town, like someplace where they can live and not die, because Gaza is a guarantee that they're going to end up dying.
Trump's comments in the midst of a fragile ceasefire between.
Fragile ceasefire. How many fragile ceasefires have we had? Fragile ceasefire when Bill Clinton was there. Fragile ceasefire when George W. was there. Fragile ceasefire when Barack Obama was there. Fragile ceasefire. Our whole entire life, my adult life, there's always been a fragile ceasefire. And they just go in there to get killed. Because Hamas does not care that these people get killed. And then there's the person in the back that says, why would they leave, sir? It's their home. It's a hellhole. So it's much deeper. It's very deep, the study of the region. And it's not as simple in some ways that I'm putting it out. But you cannot sit here this morning and go after Trump's comments, not understanding history, not understanding the UN, not understanding why they're freaking out that he didn't say two-state solution. And I get the ones out there that hate Bibi and want him in jail for, war crimes. All right, so we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Give me number 59. You remember the guy that wore the tablecloth on his head that Bill Clinton invited to the United States? You remember when the Palestinian, the PLO, was considered a terrorist organization and Bill Clinton invited this guy to America? Why the Oslo Accords failed to put Palestinians on a path to statehood. This is all the way back in 1993. That's Arab News. We'll be right back. Take a break.
Days Chevrolet Jasper is North Georgia's business elite commercial truck giant. Box trucks, landscape trucks, flatbed and heavy hauling trucks. When you've got a job to do, we've got the commercial truck for you. And get a federal tax credit up to 100% of the purchase price. Hundreds of commercial trucks are all right here at Days Chevrolet Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP, fielding phone calls during the break, looking at messages. Hi, how are you? I couldn't wait. Man, doesn't my hair look great? I'm having a great hair day. I love it. Yeah, I got a haircut. Not a one of you said anything. Not a word. Not a single word about my haircut. But as long as I care, And I do. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. Now, I will answer your question. You're wondering who sent me a question with a bunch of questions. I will answer your question in a moment. Okay? So, Gaza. Wow. And Trump is going to build condos. And I told you yesterday on the show, I said, Bibi's coming to town. And when Trump takes a look at this shoreline, hi, Diane. How are you? Thank you for pulling out those corrections when necessary, Diane. I appreciate that. 19, right? So 13, 19. 13, this is Gaza in the red area. As you can see, I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. You see the Gaza Strip. Number 19, I showed this yesterday and again today. You know, boom, I said, Trump sees that. He's looking at, wow, that's a nice strip for the Riviera, the condos in the Riviera. And then number 4, it's leveled. Gaza is leveled. And where are they going back home to? Flip over to 19. We're jumping all around. They're going back to Stunning Proposal. And where are they going back to, these people, to get killed again? I mean, these people are going back, number 17, that have no knowledge of what their future is. So when you hear Trump trying to make a deal in Jordan and Egypt to take these people at the current time, I don't know about the future, so they can have somewhere maybe to sleep, eat, get water, medication. No, we must rush them right back into nothing. And then we must stand up in front of the cameras and say, humanitarian aid, we must have rice over there immediately, and we must get Elon Musk out of USAID. Now, so let's go through video 10. I want to play a couple of videos this morning of the media freaking out. Video 10, Diane.
Gaza is a hellhole right now. It was before the bombing started, frankly. And we're going to give people a chance to live in a beautiful community that's safe and secure. And I think you're going to see a tremendous outflowing of support. I can tell you, I spoke to other leaders of countries in the Middle East, and they love the idea. They say it would really bring stability, and what we need is stability.
That was President Trump yesterday, just after proposing that the United States should take control of Gaza and permanently displace Palestinians. The question is, was the president actually serious, or is this meant to be a distraction from Elon Musk's attempts to reshape the U.S. government?
So let me just say this. A hellhole before the bombing. He didn't say two-state solution. I told you that earlier. He did not read a statement from the UN. All right. He didn't say, well, there's no outside source could ever solve this. He didn't say in his speech, we're looking for a peaceful solution. I mean, I can show you over and over how it's written. Now, so I'm going to go into a couple things. Let's go into just a little bit of history. All right. And I think it's worth the time because it will lay out, first of all, number 56. This is John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. And Fetterman said, U.S. Senator John Fetterman reportedly is open to American occupation, all right, of the Gaza Strip, a dramatic ideal pitched as a potential real estate development by Donald J. Trump. Now, I get the way they write this, But all those people going back, them having actually a productive possibility at life, a life being productive, well, Trump just is looking at it as a cash cow. Okay. Tuesday, alongside Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu, well, he's calling Jordan and he's calling Egypt and wanting to force the people to go to Jordan and Egypt. He's trying to put the people somewhere where they could get food, lodging, water, a roof over their head, some medication if necessary, and not send them back into a hellhole with no running water, no sanitation, nowhere to sleep at night, no hospitals, no schools. Well, that is Benjamin Netanyahu's fault. He's a war criminal. That's the Jews' fault. I told you when we started, whatever you want to say about 2 days ago, you can say it. But this is here now. Okay? Bottom line. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip and we will do a job with it, the president said. He added that the U.S. would own it and be responsible. Fetterman, Democrat from PA, called the president's remarks provocative, according to the New York Times. And let's see, hold on. Provocative. The Palestinians, Mr. Fetterman said, had long refused or have been unwilling to deliver a government that provides security and economic future. So wait a minute. Did Fetterman say the Palestinians, PLO, Yasser Arafat, right, have refused or have been unwilling to deliver a government? They have. Bottom line, it's not a two-state solution because the PLO, the Palestinian people, Hamas, they have refused to deliver a region of safety, security, prosperity, and a future for their people. Bottom line. All right, now, number 59. So I just want to show you a couple of these. In the interest of time, you can go do all your research today. So this is Arab News, why the Oslo Accords failed to put Palestinians on a path to statehood. United States President Bill Clinton stood beside Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat, that'd be the guy with the tablecloth on his head, and Israeli Prime Minister, I forget his name, Rabin, left on September 1993 at the White House in Washington, D.C. after signing the Oslo Accords. Now, PLO, you do the research, PLO with this guy, a terrorist organization. We would not allow Yasser Arafat on our property, being the US of A. We wouldn't allow it. We would not make a deal with him because he was aligned with terrorist organizations. Now, he finally said, okay, I won't do that anymore. I will follow the CIA regime change rules. I won't do that anymore. It's okay. Oslo Accord. Now, number 60. On September 13, 1993 was a sunny day in Washington, and for those gathered on the lawn at the White House, it seemed that a bright, new era had dawned in the fraught relationship between Israel and the Palestinians. Now, it's a historic moment. It was a historic moment, and it produced a remarkable photograph that claimed its rightful place on the front pages of newspapers around the world. Yasser Arafat, PLO, smiling and shaking hands. Here you go, number 61. Here they are signing the deal, 1993, right? It was agreed that the new Palestinian National Authority would be formed and would assume governing responsibilities of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, not Hamas. So the guy in the tablecloth with the military jacket, a terrorist that we trusted, we signed a deal with Israel, and he said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a new Palestinian National Authority. It will be formed, and it will assume the governing responsibilities of the West Bank and Gaza. After 5 years, permanent status, talks would be held to forge agreement on key issues to pave the way for the creation of a future Palestinian state. So on this day right here, they agreed to put a new Palestinian Authority in place to govern, and if they could hold it together for just 5 years, they would go to the UN and they would get together again and sign permanent status. That's all they had to do, 5 years. Bill Clinton. So, give me video 1993, right? 93, 94, 95, 96. Give me video 20.
Good afternoon. I deeply regret the injuries and the loss of life we've seen on the West Bank and Gaza in the last few days. It points to the urgency for both sides not only to end the violence, but to take positive steps to resolve the issues that divide them. Over the past 24 hours, we have been in constant touch with the Israelis and the Palestinians. Our message to them is this: it is in everyone's interest to resolve their differences peacefully, to work together on security, and to avoid any actions that could make progress on the peace between Israelis and Palestinians more difficult. The events of the past 2 days stand out precisely because we have made so much progress toward peace in these past few years. Violence was becoming the exception, not the rule. The overwhelming majority of Israelis and Palestinians want peace, and they have been doing the hard work to build it. I'd like to say a few words about the situation in the Middle East. Our message to them is this: it is in everyone. What I think is they need to end the violence, and they need to discuss these matters between them, and they need to ask themselves, all of them do, what can we do to avoid unnecessarily provocative actions? Let me also say to you that in a larger sense, what is important is that some progress be made on the issues that are the subject of the agreement. Now, we were supposed to have talks begin again this week to resolve those larger issues, and I had hoped that those talks, and I had some indication, some reason to believe that those talks could lead to some concrete progress which would diminish these tensions instead of seeing them aggravated.
So we have the Oslo Accords, and this is just a tip of the start here in the region. We have a terrorist, the PLO, the Palestinian group, and then we have Bill Clinton. You know, as we see, we're going to start listening to the UN writing the responses. We're only a couple years at this time, another conflict. We're only a couple years at this time to where we would have a solid, finalized two-state solution, and they're working towards it. So here's Bill Clinton and video 19. I don't know how long we're going to play this one, video 19.
Good afternoon. The new agreement, which will be signed today between the Israelis and the Palestinians, represents a wonderful opportunity to move the peace process forward. It is a product of hard work and the growing understanding by Israelis and Palestinians alike that the fulfillment of one side's aspirations must come with, and not at the expense of, the fulfillment of the other side's dreams. The two sides have both strong positions to be reconciled and shared interests to be pursued together. They know there's no sense in an endless tug of war over common ground. The United States has been honored to support these efforts for peace. From the signing of the Oslo Agreement on the White House lawn almost exactly 6 years ago, to the Wye River Accords achieved with the help of the late King Hussein, to the peace between Israel and Jordan itself in 1994, down to the present agreement. Our success in these endeavors, of course, goes back to the Camp David Accords under President Carter in 1978. Today I want to pay tribute to Prime Minister Barak for fulfilling his promise to seek a just and lasting peace for the people of Israel, and to Chairman Arafat for his courage in taking yet another step toward mutual respect and recognition. I am grateful for Egyptian President Mubarak's extraordinary efforts in this instance. He had a critical role in facilitating this agreement.
All right, so Carter's telling you there that they were 6 years, the Oslo Accords, 1978, the Camp David Accords, right? Arafat, his commitment to a terrorist, all right, should have never been trusted. I mean, back years ago, we should have cleaned out Gaza, is my opinion, cleaned it completely out, started all over. We made a deal with a terrorist thinking that one day this would resolve itself. But that's not really what we thought. We thought working with this terrorist, CIA, regime change, humanitarian missions every year. I mean, the money we have lost over here. So let me just say this: there's Carter again. I mean, there's Clinton. 1993, 1996, 1999 is never ending. Now, you got to remember what I'm building up to is yesterday, Trump said what? He said, oh, no. Yesterday, what Trump did not say, he did not say UN and did not read the UN statement. And he did not say two-state solution. So moving right along, let's go with George W. Video 17. I'm not going to play every bit of this, but I just want to show you video 17 leading up to yesterday.
For too long, the citizens of the Middle East have lived in the midst of death and fear. The hatred of a few holds the hopes of many hostage. The forces of extremism and terror are attempting to kill progress and peace by killing the innocent. And this casts a dark shadow over an entire region. For the sake of all humanity, things must change in the Middle East. It is untenable for Israeli citizens to live in terror. It is untenable for Palestinians to live in squalor and occupation. And the current situation offers no prospect that life will improve. Israeli citizens will continue to be victimized by terrorists, and so Israel will continue to defend herself. And the situation of the Palestinian people will grow more and more miserable. My vision is two states living side by side in peace and security. There is simply no way.
All right, that was his vision. Two states living side by side. The progress. They can't live in terror. I mean, none of these people have solved anything, actually. Look where we're at today. Yesterday, remember now, yesterday, Trump set them all upside down because he didn't say two-state solution. Do you hear all of these people? What great speechwriters. And these speechwriters seem to come from the same theme over and over, regardless if it's Clinton, regardless if it's all the way back Carter, Clinton, George W., George H. Now remember, this person is Secretary of State. Sometimes we forget that Hillary Clinton, I don't forget it, but was Secretary of State, right? Give me video. We played this earlier, video 18.
No outside force is going to resolve the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. Only a two-state solution can provide Palestinians independence, sovereignty, and dignity, and provide Israelis the secure and recognized borders of a democratic Jewish state. Now, it is no secret that the most recent efforts to advance direct negotiations didn't yield much tangible progress. But I remain convinced, and I think it's important we all remain convinced, that peace is possible. So I refuse to give up on the goal of two states for two people. And no matter how unattainable it may seem at the moment, Israelis and Palestinians shouldn't give up on it either. Instead, they should demand their leaders seek every opportunity to demonstrate their commitment. Inaction is not an option, and a one-state solution is no solution. It is a prescription for endless conflict. Israelis deserve security, recognition, and a normal life free from terror. And Palestinians should be able to govern themselves in their own state in peace and dignity. It's also time to stop pretending that solving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict will solve all of the Middle East's problems. For too long, Arab states have used the Israeli-Palestinian conflict as an excuse to avoid facing their own challenges at home. The people of the region have shown they will no longer accept this. Their leaders should drop the excuses and pick up the pace of getting their own houses in order.
5.
Now, at this time, she is... Whoa, sorry. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know what I did there. I accidentally hit a button, and I'm playing a video. I'm sorry. Actually, so at the time, she is presidential candidate Hillary Rodham Clinton. But don't forget, she was Secretary of State. Two-state solution, Secretary of State. Now, there's a reason I'm building all this up, because I'm going to close with what Trump said yesterday. You notice nothing he said yesterday, it's different. Now, in 2016, in his first term, Trump did say two-state solution. In his first term, he said two-state solution. In his first term, he said, he read the UN notes. Not yesterday. So let's go with this one. Now, listen to this. Don't get upset. Just two more. Video 15. There's a reason I want to play all these. Video 15, Diane.
U.S. President Barack Obama, and yes, folks, he's still president until tomorrow, used one of his very last press conferences in office to express his concerns over the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Let's turn now to ILTV's Aaron Porras with more on the story.
Thank you very much, Natasha. Despite Trump's pro-Israel rhetoric, it's anyone's guess as to how his administration will actually behave. But President Obama says that he believes the prospect in the two-state solution is waning due to the increased Israeli building in Judea and Samaria, as well as the Palestinians' failure to come to the table with any peace-conscious decisions.
I continue to be significantly worried about the Israeli-Palestinian issue. And I'm worried about it both because I think the status quo is unsustainable, that it is dangerous for Israel, that it is bad for Palestinians, it is bad for the region, and it is bad for America's national security. In light of all the dangers that have emerged in the region and the understandable fears that Israelis may have about the chaos and rise of groups like ISIL and the deterioration of Syria, in light of all those things, what we at least wanted to do, understanding that the two parties wouldn't actually arrive at a final status agreement, is to preserve the possibility of a two-state solution because we do not see an alternative to it.
Obama went on to call.
Preserve the possibility of a two-state solution because we don't see an alternative to it. No one has ever, for some reason, been able to see an alternative to the two-state solution that's been rammed down our throats since I was a child, my whole life. The UN message, two-state solution. Every one of them reading the UN talking points, so on. There's a reason I continue to show you this, all right? The progress that has been made. So I just have two more to upset you. Then we're going to get into what Trump said. We're going to flip it around. I promise. There's a reason I wanted to go in and really thoroughly do this. Let's go with Jimmy Carter, video 16. This will make your day.
The matter of Israel-Palestine.
Yes. You want me to comment on that?
I do. I'm wondering, I'm wondering, for example, I mean, I imagine you would absolutely have stood by his view that there should be no more settlements built in Palestinian territory.
I was very excited when President Obama went to Cairo and said that a policy of my nation and my government is no more Israeli settlements in Palestine. And this sent a wave of hope and aspirations for the Palestinians finally to get some basic political and human rights. And of course it was rejected in its totality by the Netanyahu regime. And then I was also encouraged this past May when President Obama repeated the policy that all his predecessors have had since Israel was a nation, since 1967 at least, that Israel should withdraw from the occupied territories except for the 1967 borders modified. And apparently he's abandoned that as well. Now, when he made his recent speech in the United Nations, there was no mention of 67 borders. And I think this...
So what do you think is happening?
I think it's the political pressures within our country from the supporters of Israel. And I'm a supporter of Israel, I might add to say. My hope, my number one international dream and prayer has been to bring peace to Israel. I was involved in the so-called Geneva Accords. In fact, I was involved in the negotiations between the Palestinians and Israelis, and I made the keynote speech at Geneva when it was announced. And it called for leaving half of the Israelis settlers in Palestine in exchange for some property of Israel that would go to the Palestinians to modify the borders. And when I was speaking on the last time, I had a long discussion with Ariel Sharon, very conservative prime minister.
All right, here's the last one. I promise we played it earlier, but I've got to have it in the clip for it to work. Video 21.
Not only do we pray for peace, we are actively working for peace, security, dignity for the Israeli people and the Palestinian people. I'm engaged in this day and night. I'm working, as many of you in this room are, to find the means to bring our hostages home, to ease the humanitarian crisis, and to bring peace to Gaza and Israel, and enduring peace with two states for two peoples.
All right, so that, I promise you, is the end. From here to here, no matter who came to the podium, the deep state, CIA, regime change, USAID, all the above, from here to here, never discussed the problem, never discussed the evil corruption that was taking place over there, the killing, why it happened, the terrorists, Iran, the terrorist org, no one. They're always looking for a peaceful solution between the Palestinians. You keep in mind, the Palestinians, right? And Israel. Now, the Palestinian people, if you're out there today and you're a Palestinian, okay, not a problem. But you got to understand, they always said the Palestinians and Israel. That's not the issue. It's not the Palestinian people. It's the corrupt terrorist organizations that the region has been turned over to that want to live beside Israel and claim they want to do it in peace. And it's not true. All right? No matter what side of the coin you're on. And not one of those that I played ever one time discussed the issue. Now, I want to show you a couple things. Let's do some history. Diane, give me number, and we're going to fly through this. Number 62. When did Hamas take over the PLO? The Battle of Gaza, 2007, right? The Gaza Strip. Hamas victory. Hamas takes over the Gaza Strip. Now, they claim there was an election. Now, Yasser Arafat was a terrorist, totally a terrorist. The PLO was a terrorist organization. But the PLO and the Palestinian people were supposed to create a government, right, for the Palestinian people and hold open, democratic, free elections. That's what they claimed. And next thing you know, in 2007, Hamas, the Battle of Gaza, takes over in victory of elections. Now, Hamas has been there much longer. But so, number 63, how did Hamas take control of Palestine? Government and politics. In 2006, Hamas won the 2006 Palestinian legislative elections and assumed administrative control of Gaza Strip and the West Bank. In 2007, Hamas led a military victory over Fatah, right, the secular Palestinian National Party, which had dominated the Palestinian National Authority. You don't hear none of these discussions. I could play you one right after another, and all they know how to say is two-state solution. Now, I'm not going to go way back to 1948 when Israel was created as a state, but folks, you can't have a two-state solution with terrorist organizations. It's not possible. George W. wanted a two-state. Oslo Accords, Bill Clinton, Obama, Hillary, Biden, you name it. All of them had their grand illusion of a two-state solution, but it really wasn't. It's been corruption all along. Number 64, following the election. No, that's not the one I want. That's Stacey Abrams. I don't want that one. I don't know why I went there. Sorry about that. Now, let's go to this one. Take that one down. There you go. I want to go here, and we're almost done with this entire segment. Number 67. All right. This is the first proposal for separate Jewish Arab state in territory was made by the British Peel Commission report in 1937 and 1947, right? Israel became a nation. United Nations General Assembly adopted the partition plan, for Palestine. Now, as Israel was established on the area the UN had proposed for the Jewish state, all right, Israel took control of West Jerusalem, which was meant to be part of the international zone. Jordan took control of East Jerusalem and what became of the West Bank, annexing it in the following year. The territory, which became the Gaza Strip, was occupied by Egypt but never annexed since 1967. Now, the Gaza Strip has been militarily occupied by Israel, becoming known as Palestinian territory. So every time you hear about Egypt and the Gaza Strip, and we're going to go to the Gaza Strip via Egypt, don't forget, Egypt has a long history. They occupied the Gaza Strip, but never annexed it. All right? Just keep that in mind as we get ready to wrap up this segment. Give me number 68. The Palestinian Liberation Organization has accepted the concept of two-state solution since the 1982 Arab Summit. Now, my recommendation, if you're bored and you need something to read, go read. I did a little of it. Go read the 1982 Arab Summit. Okay? The Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, accepted the concept of a two-state solution since the 1982 Arab Summit. And in 2017, Hamas announced their revised charter, which claims to accept the ideal of a Palestinian state within the 1967 borders, but without recognizing the statehood of Israel. All right? So you got to keep this in mind. In 1982, the PLO at the Arab Summit said, we're going to recognize a two-state solution. In 2017, Hamas said, all right? In 2017, Hamas said, right? We claim to accept the ideal of a Palestinian state in the 1967 borders, but without recognizing the statehood of Israel. Folks, they don't recognize Israel. All right? Diplomatic efforts have centered around realizing the two-state solution, starting from the failed 2000 Camp David summit and the Clinton parameters following the Taba summit. Is that in 2001? The failure of the Camp David, agreed to two-state solution formed the backdrop. Oh, the violence. Two-state solution also formed the basis of the Arab Peace Initiative in 2006 and 2008. Now remember, Trump, what he said yesterday, we will get back to that. This all leads up to that. Number 69, the 2017 Hamas Charter. The 2017 Hamas Charter presented the Palestinian state being based on the 1967 border. Hamas considers establishment of a Palestinian state, sovereign and complete, on the basis of June 1967, with Jerusalem as its capital. All right? This is in contrast to the Hamas 1988 charter, which previously called for a Palestinian state. Nevertheless, even in the 2017 charter, Hamas did not recognize Israel. Now, that's just the bottom line. You can hate here, you can hate here, you can hate here. You can blame Benjamin Netanyahu. You can say he's a war criminal. You can say genocide. You can say anything you want. But in 1948, Israel, the land given to the Jews by none other than God, established the country of Israel, 1948. End of story. God deemed that land, and that's my belief, to the Israelis, the Jews. In 1948, they became a state. They don't recognize them, these people. They want a two-state solution. They want to live next door. But on a daily basis, they want to destroy Israel. Now, this is the last one, number 70. All right. Hamas-led attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023. So we know all along when 2017, let me just put this up here one more time because there's a couple things I want you to see before we close up this segment. Give me number 69. Thank you, Diane. I know we're doing some jumping around. 2017 Hamas Charter. All right. There's a reason and multiple reasons why they stole the 2020 election, knowing they were laying and waiting and setting up. Trump was working on, this happened in 2017. Trump was working on Middle East peace with Saudi Arabia, the Abraham Accord. All right, there was some real progress going on in the Middle East when they stole the election. Don't forget it. Really good progress going on in the Middle East when the election was stolen from the American people. Right? Okay. Then we know what happened here. Now, that being said, let's go back and break down, now that we know all this, as though, let's go to video 1, CNN, John King, a terrorist problem. Give me video 1.
I think it's hard to say that there's a lot of self-determination in Gaza and with Hamas at the helm there. I think that that's just categorically false, especially if you're a woman.
Take it away. Hamas does not belong governing in Gaza. Two things can be true at once. I agree with the Prime Minister and the President. You can't have a terrorist group running land. However, does that mean all those Palestinian, but do all the Palestinian people then forever lose their right to self-determination on their land because they have a terrorist problem? Fix the terrorist problem.
Well, it's fixing the terrorist problem, and it's beginning as a world to try and rebuild.
Fix the terrorist problem. Hamas, no, they should not be governing a terrorist organization. How long have you known that? All the people on that set have these amazing degrees. They're very smart. They're much smarter than I am. Video 2, CNN.
Even in a flood of news, our top story is almost biblical in proportion. Tonight, at a press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, the President of the United States declared the U.S. will take over Gaza. Own it, he said, and he would not rule out U.S. troops to do it. As for the men, women, and children displaced by the fighting in Gaza, he said they need to leave. 1.9 million people, that's according to the UN, 1.8 million people according to the president. In his view, the war which Hamas launched with their unprovoked October 7th attack should end with all those people living elsewhere and the United States in control of a large, almost beach resort.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different.
Again, he did not.
So you do know the leveled out area, there is no economy there. No economy. And what Hamas has done throughout the years is they put bombs or they hide their people in schools, mosques, homes, areas to kill the civilians. They do that. And there is no outside economy. None. They do not, the people there, I'm tired of hearing the passion for the people. The people there have absolutely no opportunity at real education, no opportunity at advance. There's no industry. They have water there. There's no port. There's no shipping. They don't have jobs. It's not like these people are showing up in the morning and washing dishes at the local, restaurant, or making beds at a hotel, or cleaning or working the front counter, regardless of what it may be. They're not working in construction, building homes. They do not do that. They have zero industry. Every single thing. That's the reason over and over and over, year after year, this is a laundromat where we wash money out left and right under humanitarian efforts. Here's one. Derail. You've watched how many? Look at this. Listen to this. These people should be in jail. Video 3.
Vision for transforming the Gaza Strip, a move that would potentially derail decades of U.S. diplomacy that has been aimed at stabilizing the region. While he was meeting,
ending decades of U.S. diplomacy aimed at stabilizing the region. Did you hear that? All right, now video 7. One more time. I want this in this segment here. Video 7.
the Riviera of the Middle East.
It would be my hope that we could do something really nice, really good, where they wouldn't want to return. Why would they want to return? The place has been hell. It's been one of the meanest, toughest places on earth. You take certain areas and you build really good quality housing, like a beautiful town, like someplace where they can live and not die, because Gaza is a guarantee that they're going to end up dying.
Trump's comments in the midst of a fragile ceasefire between.
Fragile ceasefire has been all my damn life, young lady. All my life, it's been a fragile ceasefire. It's been one killing after another. They don't recognize Israel. Hamas does not. Palestinian two-state solution. It can't work. It won't work. The bottom line, Trump said, live and not die. That's freaking them out. Oh my God, occupation. What? Putting together an area? Now, am I fully supporting this? I'm thinking it out. But I understand why Trump did not say two-state solution like the deep state wanted him and the UN wanted him to say. So let's go with MSNBC. Did I play video 10 just now? If not, play video 10.
Gaza is a hellhole right now. It was before the bombing started, frankly. And we're going to give people a chance to live in a beautiful community that's safe and secure. And I think you're going to see a tremendous outflowing of support. I can tell you, I spoke to other leaders of countries in the Middle East, and they love the idea. They say it would really bring stability, and what we need is stability.
That was President Trump yesterday, just after proposing that the United States should take control of Gaza and permanently displace Palestinians. The question is, was the president actually serious, or is this meant to be a distraction from Elon Musk's attempts to reshape the U.S. government?
All right, Samantha Powers, USAID, the rice, the humanitarian aid that we had the airlift and drop and all this for Gaza and the Palestinians. How about if we actually cared about the people? What if we actually developed an economy that was productive for them to move into apartments, not live in concrete blocks that are built for them, and live in areas not knowing when the bomb is dropping next? What if they take a region, recognize Israel, Israel says, I won't bother them, you don't bother me, and we actually put together an economy that would turn provide jobs, provide income, education, wealth. What about never, big word, everything I played for you this morning, nothing surrounded the people, the Palestinian people, ever getting to the point that they could be prosperous, have an education, have an economy that moved forward, business, anything, jobs, no, just death. All right. It's a hellhole. So let me go with 13, closing down the USAID. I want you to hear something. Video 13, Diane.
Focusing on the national security impacts of closing down USAID, which is the huge humanitarian arm of the American government.
Yeah, yesterday I had a conversation in the evening with one of the USAID. He's a current Foreign Service officer, and he's representing many of these USAID employees abroad within their union. And he was telling me, basically, he said he's done postings in Africa and East Asia. He's very concerned that a country like China will fill in the void and the gap in some of the soft power that the United States and the diplomacy that the U.S. does abroad. We know that China is already using their Belt and Roads Initiative to fund economic and industrial projects in developing parts of the world. Something like USAID, which gives food, medicine, cultural goods out. That is a concern, I think, that other countries, adversaries in particular was the language that he used, could fill in those gaps and destabilize some of the areas that the United States has worked during and after global conflicts in the last 60 years or so since USAID was founded. They have worked to smooth over some of those conflicts where U.S. military has either gone in or out, etc.
Or adversaries. Now, pay attention. This has to do with Gaza Strip, okay? This has to do. I told you when we started, USAID, Gaza, Israel, everything's tied together. There's a reason why every step, CIA, regime change, right? USAID, deep state, there's a reason why it's all is tied together. And the timing of meeting with Bibi is all together. There's a reason. This person had the nerve to tell you that our humanitarian arm, USAID, and it's not, is a humanitarian arm that attracts governments to the U.S. and keeps China away. That are that they're worried. Now, this is people that say they're worried that China may come in and fill the gap. These people should be taken off the air. I'm serious. I am serious. They should be taken off the air. Void. Fill the void. Fill the gap. Folks, we cannot point to, realistically, anywhere in the world where USAID has provided any kind of industry and growth like the Belt and Road Initiative of China. We are so far behind, we'll never catch up in Africa. We're thankful that President Trump was elected so that why? Panama, our back door, could get shut down with the Road and Belt Initiative and the Panama Canal, and we could put a stop to it immediately in our backyard. Going to El Salvador, putting a stop to things in Mexico. It's right on our border. It's in our backyard. It's coming after us. And Trump put a stop to it in the South American region. Now, go look at the Belt and Road Initiative through Africa and go look at the manufacturing that China is doing in Africa with thousands of jobs there that they've put together with power plants, roads, shipping. And you think the lies that these people tell the lies that if something happens, China will fill the void? Let me wake you up. Void is filled long ago, while our corrupt people have been stealing trillions of dollars, the treasure from you and I. Give me video. Let's go with 14. I don't even know what this one is. 14.
Longtime senator, now Secretary of State. So what's the counter argument here? Because this is the national security concern that you are on Morning Joe, we talk about this a lot. Yeah. Everyone is talking about the impact of losing this soft power that America has leveraged.
Republicans on the Hill that I spoke with on Monday when all this news was breaking basically said that they would like to see a slimmed down version of USAID. And that is something that Secretary Rubio has said as well.
The impact of the security threat of our influence around the world. All right, so let me end this. Number 8, Hamas needs to be completely obliterated. All right, completely. Number 1. Number 2, let me wrap this up. I do not have a single problem with what President Donald Trump said yesterday sitting next to Bibi Netanyahu. Not a single problem. What it turns into, I don't know. But at my age, okay, from the time I was a kid, Jimmy Carter, growing up my whole entire life, I've listened to two-state solution. I've listened to the UN. I've listened to peace in the region, okay? And I watched Yasser Arafat. I'll never forget. He came to this country. I watched Trump have the election stolen from the American people. I watched where Donald J. Trump basically had Iran broke. Now we got a country that was basically broke, done away with, stolen an election. Then we have a country that Biden enriched, funded terrorism, and is threatening to kill Trump. Wow. How'd that spin around? So every single one read the talking points. Every single one from the deep state CIA. Everyone. And except Trump. Now let me tell you something. These people have nowhere to go back to. And it didn't just happen last month. The whole entire time in this region. Nowhere to go back to. We had a government in the region that was supposed to be recognizing Israel, and Hamas took it over. We know that. Trump is saying no more death and destruction. Give them somewhere nice to live. Give them schools. Give them, turn the whole shoreline into condos where they can work and where they can, have an economy. Put some kind of shipping there, maybe something. As of today and yesterday, Gaza has zero economy. And the reason the Palestinians have let Hamas do what they wanted is because that's who takes care of them. We're talking about a complete group of people relying every single day on someone or something to take total care of them because they don't have jobs, don't have real schools, don't have a future. And Trump just said, look, we're going to go in, we're going to dose it down. For once and for all, we're tired of the BS, but we're going to put something together where the people can live, have a job. Now, am I going to finish up with saying right or wrong? I don't know. But I'm not losing my SHI asterisk over it. I'm not going berserk over it. No, not going to. I'm going to let it play out for a little bit. Now, the CIA, give me number 3. They're offering a buyout. CIA is offering all of their corrupt CIA a buyout. Actually, this is the Open Gaza CIA. Give me video 4 before we go to break. Video 4.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. We'll own it.
A stunning proposal to take over the Gaza Strip, potentially with American troops, in a plan that could permanently relocate millions of Palestinians. Plus, a major makeover, the CIA offering the entire agency a buyout. Just how far will the president go to reshape the nation's top agencies? And
I want the states to run schools, and I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
shutting it down, President Trump lays the groundwork for his promise to close the doors at the Department of Education.
All right, folks. What say you? I know it's only going to be 45 minutes. I promise I'm going to get it down to an hour. But when we come back, the Georgia Hour. The Georgia Hour when we... Wait, Diane, before we go, let me answer this question. All right? You can check me out. See if I'm wrong, because this is what was explained to me one day. All right? Now, back in World War II, we have, if you go back into World War II, we have the little things that were provided to Hershey candy bars, so on and so forth, right? And Nabisco provided our soldiers in World War II crackers, Nabisco crackers. So every soldier had Nabisco crackers, okay? And for short, they would call them a pack of nabs. Nabisco, a pack of nabs, all right? Not everywhere, but certain regions. And my dad, his whole life, said, let's stop at this store and get a pack of nabs. And I'd say, Dad, those are crackers. And I said, why do you call them nabs? So that's a pack of Nabisco nabs. Anyhow, that's the answer. Take a break.
Dave Chevrolet Jasper is North Georgia's business elite commercial truck giant. Box trucks, landscape trucks, flatbed and heavy hauling trucks. When you've got a job to do, we've got the commercial truck for you. And get a federal tax credit up to 100% of the purchase price. Hundreds of commercial trucks are all right here at Dave Chevrolet Jasper. Together, let's drive.
Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
Welcome back. Welcome to the Georgia Hour. Now, I'm making an effort. I am BKP, your host, every day at 10 o'clock, and I know it is 10:22. I am doing a segment called the Georgia Hour where I can separate Georgia news and information. I could separate that from our national. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but Trump and everything happening nationally, I'm trying to make sure I cover everything, and it's pushing me out into the 10 o'clock hour. So I'm going to try everything I can. I don't want to say to get organized, Diane, because I'm pretty organized. I mean, I'm organized as far as the segments I do and so forth. All right. Now, I'm your host, BKP. You're watching the Georgia Hour. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Diane. Here's a couple things going on. So we're in the Georgia legislative session. So hold on. I'll write this down. Black. Hold on, Diane. I got to write this down. All right, I got it pretty close. I think I've got it pretty close. I got something in a minute I want to show you. So yesterday I went down to the Capitol, and, last week, and let me just say this to you, okay? I can't stand political stunts. It just bothers me. I can't stand corruption. It really bothers me. And I don't have the ability, the ability not to address it. I don't have the ability to leave it alone. And it's caused a lot of friction. It's caused me a lot of problems. When I say financially, it's caused me financially. People won't donate or support or advertise because they never know on what given day that they will be involved in some sort of possible corruption or something where I will not just turn a blind eye to the stunt. They never know. So that being said, now, so I go down to Georgia yesterday to the Capitol and give me number 74. Now, here is John Burns and all of the summoned members of the Republican House that he could gather together. Remember, it's 100 to 80. So there's not quite 100. And the only reason all 100 Republicans are not standing behind Speaker of the House John Burns is because some of them were in the middle of committee hearings and things like that they could not walk out. But if you were not attending or had the space or could have gotten here, you need to be standing here or all hell breaks loose. That's the way they operate. So I stood there. I took this picture, and as you can see, you just get a feel of where I'm standing. And I'm looking at this group, and I'm looking at John Burns, and I'm thinking to myself, my God. I mean, just the evil that oozes under that gold dome and the corruption, and you feel like a demonic spirit floating. I'm serious. You just can't describe how bad it is when you go in there. And what is I'm going to get to the point here in a minute, but these people all pretend like they're unified and pretend like they get along and pretend like they support each other in so many ways. It's like, oh, are you serious? Anyhow, moving right along. So remember, Greg Dolezal on the Senate side, which the Senate, right? The Senate in the state of Georgia, who presides over the Senate, but the Lieutenant Governor, Burt Jones. Now let's put all this together while we're having a little fun. Now, Burt Jones, the Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, would like to be the next governor. And it's of my opinion, with my ear to the floor, that the current governor of Georgia, along with his wife, that would be Marty and Brian, they should do a show, right? Sonny and Cher. Anyhow, so the current governor, Brian Kemp, does not want Burt Jones to be governor. That's what the streets are saying. That's what the streets are saying. So, Burt Jones, Lieutenant Governor, presides, Republican of Georgia, presides over the Senate, right? So he's going to grab the MAGA issue of the legislative session, and he's going to use Greg Dolezal because that's what you do. And Greg Dolezal is going to chair a committee, and he's going to come out, and the Senate is going to say, we have legislation SB1, right? First one out of the box. We're going to stop biological boys from diving in the water with girls under the guise of being a girl, right? Gets confusing, but so the Senate's going to grab that. Burt Jones is going to grab that. He's going to have that. He's going to campaign with it. MAGA. Kemp does not want him to be governor. Now, John Burns, I watched. People went to the Capitol. Colton Moore got arrested, right? Got arrested. John Burns there, the guy at the podium with the Georgia State seal, kept him out of the State House, throwed him to the ground, put him over, got him arrested, got a mug shot, took him over to the hospital for x-rays. Everybody, John Burns needs to resign. Boom, 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 went everywhere. Everybody whooped up in a frenzy. There was interviews. There was segments. There was shows. Everything. Then there was the Support Colton Moore Day that they had last week. Was it last week? And I support Colton Moore. I mean, some people hear my segment and they think, wait a minute, where are you coming from? I support Colton Moore. I support the Freedom Caucus. I support Colton Moore. All the above. Now, that being said, then we had the next the next joint session, and Colton Moore was going to walk in, boom, own the place, and he did. And the media was there, and you were there, and you were fire Burns. Everybody's going to fire Burns. Right? But then after all this, and then Burt Jones, he gets MAGA accolades because he went over the next day after they threw Colton on the floor. He goes over the next day to John Burns' office and said, let me tell you something here, Johnny. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It can't happen again. So we have Burt Jones on the ropes. Not for a second. Not Burt Jones. Back up, rewind the tape. We have John Burns on the rope. There I go. I get wound up. We have John Burns on the rope. Not for a second. Not for a second. So John Burns, the guy here, he gets invited to the White House. How did he get on that list? Right? How did he get on the list? How did he get on the list with the lieutenant governor? How did he get on the list in Georgia with representatives to go up there and be in the room? The man that had Colton Moore banished, the guy standing there, he gets to go to Atlanta. He gets to go to the Capitol. He's in the group photog. John Burns is the Speaker of the House of Georgia. And he's right there in the audience when President Trump signs the Lincoln Riley bill. Right there. Signs Lincoln Riley. He's in the group photog. Wonder if we're going to ever be able to get rid of him. Then, yesterday, so let me show you this. Oh, man, it is going to get ugly. Now, you have to watch out because we're going to be doing the segments of the plants. What is that? The people that are planted in your rooms to give people information, unbeknownst to you, that you think are on your side. Are you serious? Yes! I witnessed it yesterday. They got money. They put plants in place. They put spies in place. They have people stand next to you when you're talking. You really think that happens? Oh, hell yeah. I'll break it down. We're going to break it down. We're going to give you the no goods. What I mean, the no goods, right? Remember the movie The Goods? I love The Goods. The no goods. We're going to do the no goods. They're no good, man. And it's going to cause a lot of grief because I'm going to put some pictures up, and some of you are so starstruck by some of these people, and they're no good. You're not going to be happy when I finally do the list of no goods. All right, so, and it's sad because some of the no goods, I thought at one time were okay. Myself. Oh. Now, where am I at? So, that was yesterday. Now, let me tell you what's going on here. Now, this guy here, some of you like him. I do not. No, I don't like him. I don't like people under the guise of Christianity, under the guise of, pro-life. I don't like people that use those organizations for political gain. Number 73. This guy's name's Cole something, okay? And he's with Frontline Organization. Is it Frontline Organization? What is it, okay? I don't like the guy. I'm not going to call him a bad guy. That's between him and God. But I don't like the guy. There's a reason why. Let me tell you something. This is pretty bold. but darkness will not mix with the light. You ready? Darkness will not mix with the light. This guy's claims, okay, the claims of some of these people, man, they see me, they boom, 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 shoot the other way. They won't come around me. They will not come around me. This guy don't walk up and say, hey, Brother Pritchard, how are you? Nope. They won't come around me because they know that I see through every bit of this. So he is there with Frontline, and I'm going to tell you what they're doing. You're wondering, well, what's the big deal? Go back to Greg Dolezal. Now, today in Washington, D.C., this is all done for a reason. There's a reason why John Burns pulled his stunt yesterday, all right? There's a reason why he named his bill Protecting Girls Sports the, give me number, where's it at here? Give me, had it here a minute ago. I know I had it this morning. Where's it at? Hang tight, Diane. Maybe I don't have it. There it is, number 10. Thank you, Diane, for your patience in all the world. Right? What is this? New Trump order will protect women's sports. So what you're telling me is there's going to be a ceremony today at the White House and an executive order to protect women's sports. And it's going to be, you got, what's her name there? You got Nancy Mace. Tomorrow, this was yesterday, all right? Tomorrow, we'll be at the White House as President Trump signs an executive order to protect women's sports. MAGA is the newest feminist. We hold the line because women, like Riley Gaines, are counting on it. So that's Riley Gaines. Now, we all know Riley Gaines. She's become a household name for women's sports. Swimmer, Georgia Tech, had to swim against a man, biological man. And she's done a good job bringing attention to it and fighting the battle for young ladies and women's sports. Hey, look, I had lunch with my granddaughter Sunday, and I asked my granddaughter, are you going to play softball? Yep, went to evaluations the other day. So I want her to play softball in a girls' softball league. Now, this is where I tie it all together. Everything I've said, I'm going to tie together. So, Riley Gaines. Now, for those of you out there that think there's still a glimmer of hope that John Burns, the Speaker of the House of Georgia, is going somewhere, it's not going to happen. So what does John Burns do? All right? Because they don't want, give me number 74. This is a press conference yesterday. I was there, and every House member basically was there. John Burns is going nowhere. All right? So what they don't want to do, because my opinion, Brian Kemp does not want Burt Jones to own this. Brian Kemp does not want Burt Jones via Greg Dolezal in the Senate to come out with this bill and get the press and get the name to be able to campaign off of it. So John Burns, yesterday, the day before President Trump signs the executive order, he rushes out with his bill to protect girls' sports. And what's the name of the bill? The Riley Gaines bill. The Riley Gaines. Protect girls' sports. The Riley Gaines Act. Put the name with it, Riley Gaines. And then has this guy from Frontline, number 73, Cole, I forget his last name, in on the stunt. Riley Gaines, the bill. John Burns, Speaker of the House, presenting it yesterday, getting press on it, okay? But I thought the Senate did that already. No, John Burns for the block. Now, Burt Jones, there's no coincidence, the lieutenant governor, is in Washington, D.C. today. He's going to be joining President Trump today in signing this bill. I wonder if John Burns will be there. I don't know. But the lieutenant governor will be in Washington, D.C., Georgia's lieutenant governor, Burt Jones, as President Trump signs this executive order today protecting girls' sports. Did you catch on to the stunt and the circle? Lieutenant governor wants to be governor. Current governor does not want him to be governor, especially his wife. In fact, I think Brian Kemp is looking for that one candidate he can elevate. One candidate he can elevate. Now, here's what I understand. Because I was down there wandering the halls. I was pulling people aside, saying hello. I even had a meeting with Waffle House John yesterday. Yeah. John, whatever. Yeah, I bumped into him, said hello. We talked. We exchanged pleasantries. We're going to have coffee next week. He's the chairman of the Georgia State Election Board. Yes. There you go. So I went all around the Capitol. I pulled some people. Hey, how are you? How are you? They get nervous. So I figured since they were telling me lies, I would tell them one or two, just to throw it out there. Here, let me tell you this. No, it's a joke. So anyhow, here's what I do know, and I found out yesterday. There's major between the House and the Senate. Major. Between the House and the Senate. Major. So there you go. John Burns is not going anywhere. For anyone in Georgia that thinks that the Georgia Speaker of the House, John Burns, is going somewhere, he's not going anywhere. In fact, these people, they have no problem with him. No. And here's the thing. Watch this one here. I'm going to give you this one here, okay? Now, you remember when, and give me number 75, and look to the far right, or your left or right, whatever. You see the guy with his hand on the very end of the back of the guy with the gray hair? That's David Clark. You remember when David Clark hated David Ralston so bad that he, remember this. Now remember this. This is how this rolls. Do you remember when David Clark hated David Ralston so bad that he used a committee room and he brought the FBI, former FBI, Derek Somerville, to the Capitol, and they did a press conference where Derek Somerville laid out all of these, counts and claims against David Ralston with David Clark right next to him. And David Clark was one of the 10 that signed the get rid of David Ralston. Remember that? Remember the old days when David Clark? Now, you've got Speaker of the House, John Burns, who, heir apparent to David Ralston and cloned by David Ralston, and knows how to, as in my opinion, shuffle the coins around the state in his benefit like David Ralston. All the above, he's the Speaker of the House. And David Clark is a backslapper now. Oh, he doesn't push back. If that was David Ralston, and John Burns is no different, if that was David Ralston, there's no way David Clark would be standing right there. Now, when did David Clark flip? When did he flip? You remember the day David Clark had coffee with Kelly Loeffler? Remember that? Just saying. Take that down. All right. Now, we have a lot to go over. Tomorrow, I can only stay until 10:30. I have a physical therapy appointment. I told them over at physical therapy I couldn't get there till the afternoon. I need 1 o'clock appointments. And they said for my first one, I needed to come tomorrow. So I'm going to be here. Diane, I'm letting you know too, until 10:30 tomorrow, pre-planning. Now, the other thing I want to say is this right here. Number 71. Not a good person. Not a good one. Not a good one. Not a good one. Not a good one. This is not a good person. This is a bad person. This is a person that, very good grammar. He's an attorney. He can articulate a thought. He can manipulate a situation or a room or a crowd or an individual. But he's not a good person. I'm going to be laying some things out. Now, this is Josh McCoon, the chairman of the Georgia GOP. Now, I want to show you something here. And you must get the word to MAGA. Anyone, Debbie Doulis, the lady that, that can paint up them red lips, Candace Taylor, anyone that sends you over the top amazement from this guy here as MAGA is lying to you. Yes, that's a lie. Now, the Georgia, listen to me very, 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 very close. 4 varies, okay? The Georgia GOP, right? Inc., I-N-C, Georgia GOP, Inc. A dictator, Josh McCoon is a dictator. He is. That's the way it's laid out. He does not have to call anyone to get approval on anything in the Georgia GOP, Inc. He doesn't have to, period. He's a dictator. All the state officers are obsolete. The state executive committee is obsolete. The state committee is obsolete. That just made a lot of people angry. But they can do no more or get the opportunity, what I say, to do no more than pick out the colors of the napkins and paper plates for their next, convention. That's it. They get no serious decision-making power. So I'm going to bring all this around. The Georgia GOP, Inc. has what's called an election integrity task force. I served on it for a year. I served on it for 1 year. Now, David Cross served on it. Candace Taylor served on it. I can go a whole list. There was like 23 people. Now, when I got elected first vice chair of the Georgia Republican Party, before this, the team got together and could not have me in the way at this current time. It wasn't the 2024 election. It's right now where I couldn't be in the way. So I was on as first vice chair of the Georgia Republican Party. I know of what I speak. I was on the Election Integrity Task Force, headed up by Brad Carver. Now, we had about 4 on-site meetings. I didn't miss a one. We went to that big office where Brad Carver works out of in Atlanta in the high rise. We had a meeting there. We had a meeting over at the Devil's Den where they have the Satan worship over there, or what I perceive. I perceive it's a very, very bad place. That's my perception. I want to be clear. You could have your own perception. You could take your kids and put them in the cage yourself. You could do whatever you want there. That's your business. Me, the Eagles Club. So you go over to the Eagles Club, and they had meetings, and I attended all those. And they put us into groups. And my group was to end. I was working with another gentleman in a team, and our group was to put in the legislation that we wanted to put to at Georgia was to end drop boxes, and the reason why. So we did the research around the country of how many drop box states drop boxes are illegal. We put all that together, presented it, and we wanted it in the legislation. Now, the way it worked was Brad Carver, the chair of the Election Integrity Task Force for the Republican Party, we were all meeting well in advance of the legislative session. Now, keep this in mind. Well in advance of the legislative session. And we were putting together for 2024 a list of things that we wanted to happen in the 2024 legislative session. So right out of the box went the last year, right out of the box, we assembled that, put a piece of legislation together as the Georgia GOP, and we presented it. Now, we got SB 159, right? Was it 159 we ended up with? But we presented it immediately at the opening, well in advance of the Georgia GOP, or the Georgia legislative session last year, right? Everything. Then all through the legislative session, we had emails going back and forth, conversations going back and forth. We were talking to people down at the Gold Dome, trying to put a little pressure. Now, the RNC, let's keep this in mind, okay? The RNC passed a resolution saying that they supported paper ballots. We could not get, at this time, I'm the first vice chair, and when they removed me, the attorney, they had a trial. When they removed me, the attorney that made their presentation kept saying, do you want this guy to be a heartbeat away from? You realize he's a heartbeat away from? Oh, yeah. So we had a state committee meeting, right? And we could not get the Georgia GOP to sign on to the RNC saying we support paper ballots. And finally, thankfully, Sam Carnline from down there at the Redneck Riviera, he's from down that way. He stood up and put the pressure on this man in front of everybody to adopt the RNC. He wasn't leaving. We were having a meeting. We're there all day. He keeps asking, when are we going to adopt the RNC? Finally, there was so much pressure on him that we adopted that resolution. It did not go anywhere, but we adopted it. Now, the election is over. Here's where I'm going. He's a stunt man, all right? I'd like to shoot his ass out of a cannon. Anyhow, he's a stunt man. He pulls political stunts. He's a professional at it. This is a very good friend of the governor, Governor Kemp, Marty Kemp, all right? He's also may have some down the line ties to the lieutenant governor. Anyway, anyhow, we'll get there in a minute. So now it's this year. I have asked. I'm not on it anymore. They kicked my ass out. But Brad Carver is still the Election Integrity Task Force chairman for the Georgia GOP. Now, after the election in November, all right, we started talking about our constitutional officers in Georgia can't win. There's a possibility we lose. Now, we're going to come back here, all right? But in 2026, Trump won like 2.2. And I've had some people do analysis. And they know what they're doing. Georgia should have been like a 6.7 or a 6.2 state for Donald Trump. It went 2.2. Now, we'll just leave it here. Something's wrong, right? And we're trying to sound the alarm. When I say we, there's a team. We're trying to sound the alarm with people saying, look, unless you have a Trump Force 47, and you don't, unless you're going to have that kind of backing, and you won't, Donald Trump will not be on the ballot. You may not win in 2026. Georgia is set up for the possibility of constitutional offices going to Democrats, whether you believe it or not. Now, I'm going to get into him in just a minute. Now, I'm going to say something you're not going to like, but there's nothing I'm going to say that's not true. So this is number 65. Not the last election, because people were tired. But the first head-to-head matchup, Republicans in Georgia, Brian Kemp almost got beat by a black, lesbian, overweight woman with gap teeth. One more time, Stacey Abrams. Brian Kemp almost, the very first time out of the box. Georgia should have been, this person should have run against Brian Kemp first time out of the box, and Brian Kemp should have won by 4 to 6 points. But Brian Kemp came just that close of getting beat by a black woman, lesbian woman, who is overweight with gap teeth. Now, everything I said is true. I'm not being mean to Stacey Abrams. She's a black lady. She's a lesbian. Teeth are gap, a little overweight. And Brian Kemp, I know that upset people, but I had to paint the entire picture. Diane, give me number, give me number, I think I have it here. Give me 64. All right. Following the election, Abrams and her organization Fair Fight filed a number of lawsuits challenging the constitutionality of Voting Rights Act compliance, Georgia, blah, blah, blah. Kemp prevailed by 54,723, defeating Abrams 50.2 to 48.8. Now, he won like a 4-point margin or 5 the second time because people didn't want to see Stacey Abrams on the ballot anymore. But the very first time this lady gets on the ballot, and I'm sorry for how it sounds, but you think a black lady, overweight, gap-toothed, lesbian, right? Oh, no, Republicans not going to have any problem with that. But Trump, this is 8 years ago or 6 years ago, whenever it was, 50.2. This is what, now keep this in mind. Trump is president of the United States. This guy gets Trump's endorsement, and he hates Trump. This guy got Trump's endorsement, and he can only pull off the final by 50.2 to 48.8. Do you get that? Are you listening? Now, years later, Trump won't be on the ballot. Now, so we have been working. When I say we, there's several. The legislative session is 3 weeks in. 3 weeks in. There should have been an election integrity task force meetings the day after the election. All these things should have been put on the table. I have told you this. Let me tell you why this stunt, number 71, is happening. Your host, right here, you remember a couple weeks ago? I laid out, we can't win in 2026. We got a problem. If we don't recognize where we're at, who did that? Did you see that from Josh McCoon? Did you hear anything from Josh McCoon? No. But because I am having meetings with people, trying to do the right thing, I want to win. I don't give a shit about this guy here. Because I know he that's not his. So he comes out when? Last night? I was at the Capitol yesterday. Keep in mind, I had meetings yesterday. At the Capitol. I was at the Capitol yesterday. And 8 o'clock last night, this came out. which I try to tell you every day, there's spies at the Capitol, and you never know who you're talking to. And I know the minute I got done talking to the individual who called Josh McCoon. Number 72, top Georgia Republicans are renewing their push to only let voters who register at their party member. I'm trying to think of how many people I have met with begging them to close our primaries. The ideal to end Georgia's open primaries, which now allow any voter, has long failed to gain traction. Why is this out? Why is this article out 3 weeks after the session starts? Why is this article out? We won in November. Why is it coming out in February with this guy, right? Why did this guy go to the AJC the day after your host went to the Capitol when we knew last year, we knew the day Trump won that we needed to close the primaries? He's a bad man, a very bad man. And you have some dumbasses out there that still trust him and believe him and worship him and carry his water. We knew after November when Trump got the W that in 2026 we got a problem if we don't close our primaries. But last night, this makes it to the AJC. Well, we're working on that. Bullshit. But Georgia GOP chair says it's time to reopen the debate now that Donald Trump is back in the White House. Now it's time? He released the party's election integrity priorities late Tuesday, which topped by calling for closed primaries. Right after your host went to the Capitol yesterday. Late Tuesday, he got some priorities. Whew. McCoon told Politically Georgia that the party stalwarts are clear that they want Republican voters elected. Let's see. The overall faces odds, blah, blah, blah. There's much more. Folks, this is going nowhere because the legislature's in session and it's well on its way, and they're in budget hearings right now, and none of this is in the budget, and it's not even being discussed. These people are so friggin' corrupt. So friggin' corrupt. And the only way to fix it, number 43, I'm going to close with this. Georgia Republican Party key convention dates, February 22nd, March 22nd, April 26th, and the state convention, June 26th and 7th. Georgia, if you want to clean house, you must start with the Georgia GOP chairman, Josh McCoon, and clean house. I'm way past. It's 11:04. I'm supposed to be done. I will have a lot more on this subject with much more detail. Please let me hear from you. Just say what you want to say. This is where we have the conversation. God bless you. Thank you. I probably need to get out of here, Diane. Later.
So surprisingly, I don't have a whole lot that will repeat what Brian has said, but I do want to bring this up to your attention. Representative Andrew Clyde posted, proud to support the Dismantle DEI Act, We must codify the elimination of DEI to ensure that this divisive, un-American nonsense is gone for good. So President Trump ended DEI mandates on day one. Now we're making sure they never come back. The Dismantle DEI Act codifies Trump's America First agenda into law. So they're trying to, well, there's a bill that's going to be submitted, if it hasn't already, to be able to end DEI for good. So just wanted to let you know about that. I don't remember what this was. Oh, so I've got a couple of videos that I'm going to show you. They're all just going to run together. So Democrats are trying to get into the USAID building. So they're just trying everything they can to get in there to get access. This video here, he's talking about the corruption of the NGOs. And he alludes to the big one. The big one will be released in the next 48 hours. So there's something in addition to the USAID that's going to be released, according to some insiders inside Doge. And David Cross is the one that's telling us to pay attention. The real reason will be revealed soon. Buckle up. And he goes, this guy here, can't remember his name, he goes in to talk about elections. So I'm thinking maybe it has to do with elections, which got me thinking, you know, all these, let me pull this in real quick, and I've got some graphics I want to show. Oh shoot, I didn't even bring them in. Oh yeah, I did. Sorry. So some graphics that I was looking at yesterday when I was looking at USAID stuff. So here's APAC, American Israeli Public Affairs money goes into that from USAID. But I came across this, and the very top PAC or top contributor, or the top organization that gets the funds from APAC is Standing Strong PAC, and that's $5 million that they get. It's an outside group that they get from APAC, and I was like, Standing Strong, I wonder who that is. So I just clicked on the thing, and so Standing Strong PAC outside spending, total spent on the federal elections, $9 million. Well, $5 million of that came from APAC, right? And we learned about APAC a couple of weeks ago. It's well, we saw that on, it's American Israel Public Affairs Committee. So then I searched Standing Strong PAC. Committee is a single candidate super PAC in the support of Adam Schiff. So Adam Schiff is getting $5 million from APAC, and he spent $9 million on the 2024 election for his seat in the Senate. So I was sitting there thinking, well, all this money comes from USAID into, like, funneling into different PACs and organizations and down to our elected leaders. Well, now all that money is going to stop. So here's Adam Schiff. His total money spent, or total money received, I'm having a hard time seeing that. I gotta make it larger on my end. Hold on one second. Anyway, the money that he's received is greater than the money that, oh, I'm so sorry, greater than the money that he spent by, I don't know, $14 million. So he raised 47 million, and he spent 61 million. So he should be in debt 14 million, right? Well, then he had 6 million on hand. So I don't know, $7 million. He should have a debt of $7 million, but he doesn't. That was interesting, I thought. But anyway, so I was just thinking that maybe we can actually get control of our elections, because we're not going to have this enormous amount of money going from USAID into our elected officials. And you've got, we all learned about Act Blue this year and how they're funneling money from bogus credit cards, thanks to James O'Keefe. So all that corruption. So I'm kind of excited to see what might happen in the next 24 hours or 48 hours. Well, it's probably 24 hours now, because that video or that interview that Alex Jones was having is 24 hours old now. So tomorrow we should see something significant happen again. So eyes open. So let's go ahead and we're going to play a couple. I'm going to start out with the Oval Office, kind of a 360 view of the Oval Office, and then we're going to see a quick video about CIA buyout, which was a repeat that Brian had talked about briefly this morning. And then we'll watch the Dems trying to get into the USAID office, and then we'll finish up with that interview that Alex Jones was having. So y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So enjoy the videos.
Fox News alert, the Wall Street Journal is reporting the CIA has reportedly just offered a buyout to its entire workforce. Everyone in the agency is telling employees late today they can quit their jobs and receive about 8 months of pay and benefits. It's a part of Trump's push to downsize the federal government. More as we get it.
Hi, Chris. Real pleased to meet you. Nice to meet you. Okay, so as you are aware, this agency is very busy currently, and they are not able to take a meeting currently. They advise that they will be in contact shortly, and that it's best to contact the Department of State at this time if you need any further comments.
Who is they?
The front office of the administrator.
So could I just ask, are you with AID?
I am.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Are the Doge people here? Are they in this building now?
We have 8 employees currently. That's all I know. I don't know specific who Doge is or any of that. I just know that 8 employees are here. Although, as you are all aware, it's in the press, everybody's been asked to telework. There are select people here to provide services for the agency. So the rest of them are all telework. Are you career? I am. Are you?
Thank
career
you.
as well.
Thank you. We want to thank you for your service. So there's no opportunity to.
No, unfortunately, I don't control that. I'm just here to pass along the information. Thank you for coming, and I'm sure Department of State will be putting out more information for sure.
Are you the senior civil servant here?
No, I am not the senior civil servant.
Here
I have gray hair like
today.
you. No, absolutely. Just gray hair. That's it. That's the senior part of me. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yep, we'll see you soon. Okay, take care. Thank you. You're welcome.
The person at Doge told me is that the big one's coming, and frankly, I don't know.
I could find out, but we were not looking at the.
Well, Soros is heavily involved.
He is, but he's using taxpayer money. He's using the U.S. Treasury as his piggy bank. It's really not his money that he's using.
Yeah, we've known that forever. They say it's Soros money, but they just hand it to him. So that's fast. You're talking to Doge people? Tell us what they said, please.
Did I say that?
Yeah, that's very well. I figured, but it's obvious. So you guys are great researchers.
It's the biggest megaphone in the.
Well, first, thank you, Alex, for having me on. And it's not just me. There's a team of us across the United States that have been volunteering our time and a lot of times our own money to do deep dives into this. And of course, we're called conspiracy theorists, especially in 2020, 2021, et cetera. And we expose the election fraud. We know how the presidential election was stolen in 2020. Then we moved into the money phase with Chris Gleason and Philip Allison, two of the team members who did a lot of the work, 7 days a week, 14-hour days, exposing smurfing, which is campaign money laundering. Then we got into the NGOs, and we've termed it the fifth branch of government, whereby that's the real government that's running in all these anomalies, the things that don't feel right and obviously just aren't right, like DEI, CRT, transgender operations on minors or anybody, illegal immigration. Well, it's all the fifth branch of government, which is NGOs. NGOs are non-governmental organizations. Generally, you can refer to them as nonprofits, even though there's upwards to 40 different types of nonprofits sanctioned by the IRS. And we found is that there's 1.4 or 1.5 million NGOs in the United States alone, not even getting to the international ones. And we've identified 55,000 out of the 1.5 million that are true liberal NGOs trying to tear down our country. And one of them, as we give an example, is the Chinese Progressive Association that has shown it's out of Oakland, California. The FBI has tagged them as a bad actor. And they are getting either giving or receiving federal government money, federal grants, and then it goes from one organization to another. And people across the United States and citizen journalists have exposed this. Rand Paul, the U.S. Senator, has exposed this, but certainly not enough.
And so on screen is just this group funding and the big banks and big tech above them and government giving them just billions. This is just one of their front groups or one of their conduits they use. And let me just briefly go back then here. Let's remember, meanwhile, Loris Lerner under Obama, they admitted, yeah, we targeted tens of thousands of churches and conservative pro-gun groups, anti-abortion groups, taking away their tax exemption, auditing them, putting them in prison. So while you have a war on legitimate, open, Christian, conservative, nationalist groups, then they've got just green light over here, USAID, 93% of the money going to Democrats. I mean, it's just, this is their fifth column. This is their shadow government. This is striking at the heart. Please continue.
And the Chinese Progressive Group is in the 55,000, along with USAID. And let me highlight a few USAID. The USAID has been funding, which is our tax dollars, through government grants and loans. Project Predict, which is the creation of COVID. There's NGOs such as the Catholic Charity Scam and the Lutherans and the Jewish Family Services, $300 million a month to facilitate illegal immigration. USAID is funding the BBC. It came out this morning. They are funding the piggy bank. They're larger than the CIA by a multiple.
By the way, stop the presses. We're going to have you on for 10 hours soon. We'll do a 2-hour commercial free. I didn't even know that yet, but that goes to figure. The government funded, they have to pay a license to have a TV in the UK. Almost no one watches it. It's literally run by pedophiles. It's come out. And they are getting taxpayer money for the American people. Wow, so Americans are paying a BBC tax as well. Holy Toledo.
And they're paying, and the USAID and through NGOs is paying Reuters London to do hit pieces on conservatives across the United States.
$300 million to target Musk, which again, that's really MI6. Incredible.
And USAID is the one who funded the toppling of the overthrow of Ukraine government in the Orange Revolution in 2014, where Victoria Nuland is the one who orchestrated that, and she needs to be criminally prosecuted for that. You know, she's the one who started, and her minions started the Ukraine war. It wasn't Putin. We're the ones who are putting biolabs and other
by the way,
bad things in Ukraine.
Nuland and all of them have bragged they started it. George Soros went on CNN and said, I'm behind it. I did it through USAID. They're very proud about it.
And the USAID is the ones funding and paying poppy farmers in Afghanistan to this day. Maybe it stopped yesterday thanks to Elon Musk, but they were paying poppy farmers to grow the poppies for heroin. Wow. And then to ship it across to different countries. And they're paying for child trafficking, as I said. And Tom Homan of ICE was on, where there's 500,000 now kids, not 200,000 or 300,000, which is bad enough. 500,000 illegally trafficked kids. And the U.S. government, through the NGO, USAID, is paying for that. It's outrageous. Now it's come out, there's a partnership with USAID directly under contract with Mexican drug cartels. This is outrageous. And shame on all the congressmen and senators, where there's, 635 of them, maybe 2 or 3, like Rand Paul and a few others, maybe 2 or 3 out of the 635 have ever brought this to light. And where are all the other ones? Where are the 633 that have not spoken up and probably have their fingers in the pockets of these NGOs getting money?
Incredible. I mean, and we're just learning a little bit of it right now, and they are in full panic mode over Elon Musk.
And I tell you what, very interesting is what we found with when we were able to map out all the 55,000 connected. And when I say connected, the reason we could see the cash flow monies flowing from one to the next, sometimes through 10,000 NGOs. And then it'll actually come back to the original NGO. And this includes not just like the Chinese Progressive Association. I'm talking about Charles Schwab Trust Fund, Fidelity Trust, Vanguard Trust. You're talking about people who, on the brokerage side, you have your pension funds and your 401ks.
Of course, I mean, in general, that's the BlackRock Consortium.
Yeah, correct. And I am talking specifically about the trust, but they still are using their names like Charles Schwab, and they might be doing good work of 60, 70, 80%. But then you have that 10, 20, 30% that we can trace and show that goes directly to anti-American, outright communist organizations who are trying to tear down our country. It's outrageous how deep this is. I'm going to give you a quick example. We can track from the U.S. Treasury through grants and loans going to the Tides Foundation, going to the Chinese Progressive Group, who then funds the Abundant Organization, the Organization Support Services Group, the National Domestic Workers Alliance, Fair Works, LBGT Outership, Armor Islamic Center, Islamic Services of Seattle, Working Washington, Vote Yes for Work. These are all funded by U.S. tax dollars through the NGO coming from the U.S. Treasury to the Tides Foundation to the Chinese Progressive Group, who then we can track and we can show on screen that funds 187 other NGOs. And then again, you'll see the money coming back. And this is something no one could ever do before. And we believe it's because they're trying to cover their tracks of where the money's really going to. And don't forget, this is only 55,000 in the United States. Think about all the NGOs then that go out of country.
And that's what Zelensky, as soon as Musk got into USAID this weekend, by Sunday, less than 24 hours later, Zelensky goes, look, I only got 42% of the money. Somebody keeps the rest in the U.S., 58%. And they're rolling over quickly. They know they're in trouble.
Exactly. And I'm going to give you another great direct example. I have to give credit to @Data Republicans. Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening. Now, you tell me what the hell that is. There's 48 federal grants totaling $528 million that anyone could go look up. This is based on the IRS 990s. We went to their database using an API, downloaded their entire IRS database in 990s. That's our source of our data for all this.
And what I
But
love
now
is how Musk is openly working with his people, but also crowdsourcing or people like you with the trails, with the breadcrumbs. And you see X particularly using a humet of human knowledge with researchers like you that go in and connect the dots and then furnish these total scientific breakdowns, blueprints for everyone of what to go after. This is synergy.
And I can disclose that President Trump has our information on how they stole the election in Wisconsin. He has our information of smurfing, of campaign money laundering, and he has our information of these NGOs. And he, to my knowledge, and seeing how he's acting, he's using it, which is praise the Lord.
I remember you, like a couple of years ago, your group, seeing it about smurfing and learning the term. I mean, I understood money laundering and Act Blue and how they did that. And they would just take people's names that weren't even involved in it and use them to make donations they weren't really making. But now, thanks to your work and others, this is really coming to the fore, and they've just committed mass crime. Like Act Blue, the majority of the money comes from overseas credit cards. I mean, they're not even trying to hide this.
And we're proud to say is that 20 state attorney generals have last year opened a criminal investigation, which is still ongoing. And Jason Morales, the state attorney general out of Virginia, and along with U.S. Congressman Brian Stiles, who happens to be from Wisconsin, he's the chairman of the committee that oversees the Federal Election Commission. They sent a request to Janet Yellen in the U.S. Treasury for the SARS reports. And she commented publicly, they have never seen so many SARS reports filed by banks against Act Blue ever in any request from Congress. And that those criminal investigations are still going, being led by people such as Ken Paxton out of Texas, the state attorney general out of Missouri and Indiana and Iowa.
And what's beautiful is this isn't like fake charges on Trump or me or Owen Schroyer or Steve Bannon. This is all meat and potatoes, cut and dry, prima facie, open and shut. I mean, we've got their ass.
Yes, because you can't cover up the financial data through the merchant services when they process the cards. That's in the hands of like Visa and MasterCard and the banks. So
and they've been operating like they would never have anybody go look or check. They thought they were invincible.
Exactly. Now, I wanted to finish on this consortium for elections and political process. It's 528 million in grants, but when you go back further in time, it reaches 2 billion. And you know who it's going to? This is supposed to be for educating young people, which the federal government should be doing in the first place, about the political process and getting involved in politics. But the money, when you look in the details of the individual connections, it goes to, and this is typically 13 to 14, 15 million per grant. It's going to Venezuela, Haiti, Armenia, Jordan, Nigeria, Tunisia, Republic of Congo, Sudan, Senegal, Moldavia, Guatemala. Why? Why is $528 million going to these countries?
And when you track it back, it's literal globalist brainwashing into the WFU and cult.
Exactly.
And drag queen story time, all of it.
Influence and you can track these NGOs to the ones who have been promoting pornography books in our public schools.
Of course. No, because I've tracked these individually, spot checking it. When you wonder why in Australia and Germany and even in Russia and in Mexico and everywhere, why there's suddenly fat dudes in dresses, a lot of them convicted pedophiles talking to 6-year-olds. It's literally grants. I mean, that's what they're paying for.
Yes, and then now it's also coming out, mostly, I'd say 90% Democrats, they are getting a cut of this money. This is why Senator McConnell, Mitch McConnell is in on it also through Ukraine money laundering. We've determined that already. But the Democrats who are outside the USAID office in Washington, D.C. yesterday, trying to cause a ruckus, they are the ones who are getting more money, either directly in their pockets.
Yeah, let me back you up. Musk got the numbers, released it last night. 93% of it's going, 93% of the money going out that's being siphoned off goes to Democrats. So this is a Democrat operation.
Bingo, bingo. That's why they're screaming like stuck pigs because their money supply is being cut off. But again, USAID is just one. We've got 55,000 identified, and thank God that President Trump has shut them down, paused the funding for all of them. And he's going after such as a Catholic charity scam and disclosing to your audience that I am a Catholic. The Catholic Charities is a scam taking federal government money, and he's going to revoke their 501c3 status, which is fantastic.
Well, if you wonder why the Catholic leadership has become so liberal and globalist, unlike great average Catholics, great people, is what is it? It came out last week, $2.3 billion in the last year went to the different bishops and different things. So that's what this is doing.
Correct, and the Lutherans aren't clean on this either. Neither are the Jewish Family Services NGO. These are all NGOs. The Red Cross. The Red Cross is dirty as can be, and they're taking the federal government money and then facilitating trafficking, especially the children, let alone any illegals coming across the border, but in particular the children.
And I'm going to try to give you the floor when we come back. We've got a few minutes to break, but this is just you're hitting on so many points. I didn't know about the BBC thing. I want you to, when we come back from break, if you can dig that up, I'd like to, I haven't seen that break yet. That is sensational. That the U.S. citizens are paying a TV tax to the U.K. That's super unpopular there, much less here. That is amazing. But I want you to think about this, because this is a big question. If anybody knows, it'll be you, because I've gone over the numbers. Who's the biggest bag man or distribution point? Is it USAID? Is it Catholic Charities? Is it the Jewish charities? Or you know, in these groups, who are the motherships? Who are the kingpins?
The person at Doge told me is that the big one's coming, and frankly, I don't know. I could find out, but we were not looking at the.
Well, you know, Soros is heavily involved.
He is, but he's using taxpayer money. He's using the U.S. Treasury as his piggy bank. It's really not his money that he's using.
Yeah, we've known that forever. That they say it's Soros money, but they just hand it to him. So that's fast. You're talking to Doge people? Tell us what they said, please.
Did I say that?
Yeah, that's very well. I figured, but it's obvious. So you guys are great researchers. But they just told you the big one's coming. What was the context?
Mike, I would strongly follow Mike Benz, B-E-N-Z, on Twitter. Mike Benz has done phenomenal exposure work on this before we even looked into this. We just took it to the next level where you could see it interactive, connected, how they're connected, and we connected through the money flows and the people. So that's how we know that they're all connected.
Sure, you ran it to ground. You ran it to ground.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So Jim Ferguson just published on Jim Ferguson UK is funded by USAID, and he's that's one source. There's others that are coming out with it. Benny Johnson has just come out with it that the BBC is being funded by USAID. So, and I know Reuters is too. I came over that before. Is that Reuters is?
Yeah, that's even come out now, and yeah, that came out in the last about a month and a half ago. That's confirmed.
Correct. Correct.
Unbelievable. Wow. We're going to break. What else are you going to cover when we come back?
Well, it's basically anything going wrong with our country, and in DEI to illegal immigration, you can trace it back to the fifth branch of government, these NGOs.
Unbelievable. Peter, how do people support what you're doing? We're still going to come back, but how do people, I mean, how are you funding yourself? Just with pure will?
I fund a lot of it myself, and other people do provide donations. Electionwatch.info, and there's a donate button on there to help defray the costs. I appreciate it.
Let me just ask you briefly before we go to break: how satisfying is the change you're seeing for you?
It's Christmas 10 times over.
It's February 2025. We now.